I was on an expedition yesterday in the Egyptian ruins, right? Went and saw an ancient tablet, translated the hieroglyphics, and it said, "Welcome to episode 10 of FNTASIA."
True.
Where the business, Shyo, Bala,
Bro, how does every time you intro with some like whack crazy thing, and I'm like, oh, where's he going with this? And then it's the same thing every time.
That's how we do it, man. That's how it keeps the boys engaged. You know what I'm saying? But good morning is one of the cool things I get to say. I think the first time in 3 weeks personally, and for the first time on the podcast. What are we interrupting today? Levin, do you have anything you do in the mornings that you should be doing right now, but you're on the podcast instead?
Not really. Nah, I'm just sort of late all day.
It's traveling to whatever new place you're in right now.
Yeah. The Nike headquarters, traveling to Kanye's house to record some stuff. Big Hollywood man, Levin. That's nice.
You can't keep leaking my new tracks, bro. Come on. I told you that I'm proud.
So what are we interrupting for you, Shyo? Because I know for sure you ain't up at this hour normally. What is?
I'm actually it's solo queue probably, man. And then I sleep like in 3 hours, okay. Wake up at like 10 p.m. You know the China sleep schedule. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can dive right into how things go, but keep it light. For all you guys who are watching today, if you're listening, you might want to check out the YouTube video. Check out this bingo card that we're about to show you on screen, courtesy of Clutch, who's in the chat. You can check out his Twitter as well, or you might not be in the chat. He's usually here, but there's an FNTASIA bingo card now that was made last week, which is a pretty goddamn cool.
This is the best thing.
Have we done any of this stuff yet?
This episode?
Shyo forgets how
so
to speak?
far.
No. I think all of our cameras are going berserk mode.
Yeah,
I think all of ours are going on right now because of freaking Robbie. So there's a second one.
Yo, it's actually. Hey, fuck Robbie, man. Forget that guy.
But yeah.
Sick. Well, you guys can keep tuned with it. If I find the link, I'll drop it in chat. If not, just use your photographic, memory and memorize that stuff. Let's move on to what's cool and what's not. Mostly what is. Dreamhack Cash Cups got announced. We're diving straight in. It's kind of a lighter week, so we'll have some stuff to fill in. But right now, Cash Cups from Dreamhack. And if Robbie, if you want to scroll down, the major thing I wanted to talk about is the format. First off and foremost, this is pretty cool. In between FNCSs.
Yeah, I mean, well, why not? So it's a broadcasted event in between FNCSs. I think that's the thing I want to take away from it. It's not the normal Dreamhack, so people are going to be kind of surprised when they tune in. Well, nobody tunes into the stream anyways, but you know what I'm saying? People are going to be surprised and be like, what are we watching? And it's like not a grand finals lobby. They're going to be like, But I mean, I guess it's cool having. I am personally missing the fact that we never get to see opens or semis or any of that stuff on FNCS weekends. So I'm glad that we have something similar to watch and try to improve on in terms of like spectating and stuff like that.
I don't want to skip over that, bro. Okay, nobody watches the Dreamhack broadcast. What do you think they actually get more people to watch? Because FNCS's viewership has improved, but like, what does Dreamhack need to do then?
To get them to watch, you're lagging a bit, but to get them to watch Dreamhack, I mean, to be honest, like it just needs to dude, like all of these streams, the ones that were running on replay mode. Sorry, what's up, Robbie?
Did anyone else get like absolutely blasted by Bala, or was it only me that experienced this?
I got that as well.
This 30-kill tactical nuke in my ears.
I got that as well.
This man was on top of a cop car with a megaphone. Well, actually,
I don't know what's happening, but yeah. So to improve and get people to watch, that it needs to be more promo that is telling narratives, telling stories, talking about the players. Right? It's not just like tweeting interview clips every once in a while on probably most of the time irrelevant interviewers, because it's not even the person that won the tournament, because the person that won the tournament is even like useful to that. Like we need more of those narrative type of things that get people interested in actually watching the broadcast. Well, actually just watching Dreamhack in general, right? Which usually Dreamhack viewership overall is pretty good, right? It's usually like, 180,000, 200 200,000, depending on which region. But the broadcast itself definitely needs some help. And I think anything about it, it just needs to be focused on the players, right? Focused on trying to tell something that'll be like, wow, this is cool. Like this streak is happening. We need to watch. We need to tune in.
All right, cool, fair enough. On the topic of Castra, I think we have like it's broadcast like an open round type edition, because we sort of are lacking that now. Obviously, you know, there's the whole form dream.
Is it lagging?
Is Levin's audio lagging too, or is it just the video?
Is my audio? You guys can hear me?
I can hear you on
Discord. Do you want to take a second and set this up to where
I'll take a sabbatical, mate?
Yeah, take a
no,
sabbatical.
not even a sabbatical. What's a sabbatical?
Take a sabbatical. He's gone. Go fix your
shit.
He's
gone. No, I was saying like we could do the loop around where we link Levin through Discord instead of vMix. Because his Discord's coming in fine in my ears.
Yeah.
While he does that, for specifically, Levin was moving on talking about the Cash Cup stuff. I still want to harp on the broadcast stuff.
Yeah,
I want to roll with Charmin Ultrasoft's motto, which is less is more. You know, by Charmin, where it's like I feel like all the open days that are broadcasted, all those like, and the frequency that Dreamhack is on. If we skip that and really just show the juice, you know what I mean? Like even maybe not the semis are cool, I guess. Semis and the finals, if we reformat the semis to where they're actually mega competitive, I feel like that'd be so sick.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it too, but probably not as much as we'd think, because it does increase as time goes on. So people are mentioning replays, but the finals aren't even used on replays anymore. So like that, Dreamhack was the first one to use the live spec in their finals compared to FNTASIA, right? So yeah, that's important.
Other thing is that I also feel like sometimes tuning into Dreamhack and also working both shows is that it's like an alternate skin for the FNCS. You know what I mean? Like
it is. It follows the same formula exactly to a T almost. That hurts. Observing has gotten better in some points, and then all of a sudden, like other points, it's just like we're sleeping, which makes sense because we're freaking broadcasting NAE West from a Swedish company. Like it's crazy the amount of. I'm not sure like how much any of that has to do with anything, but the other thing too is like the thing that I've always said, especially last season when I was like trying to tune in, it's like I tune in and I have no clue it's like where we're actually at. I don't know what game we're in. I don't know who's leading on the leaderboard. So that stuff will help as well if something can be fixed in that regard. Okay, touching back on I think we started off like instantly just going to like a tangent that is completely irrelevant because the Cash Cup Extra thing. I feel like this is just like I feel like Epic really likes the open stuff, and they really like Cash Cups, and I think obviously that makes sense. That is what probably earns them a lot of money. It's cool that they're kind of they're adding some like extra thing. It's weird to me because I feel like not everybody who plays Cash Cups are even going to be signing up for, you know, trying to get this extra. Like it's just people who are like, oh, well, there's a Cash Cup in game, and well, okay. I don't know. I personally don't like it. I would much rather prefer like just the normal Dreamhack, but I guess it's less investment, less time, less everything, which is good too. Because remember that season where we had Dreamhacks and FNCS, it was just so rough. It was like every single day we had something on, and it was like so hard to follow. And that actually did also reduce the relevancy of Dreamhack past like August, right? It was just like, no, there's too much.
Yeah. It's like there's like 40 people who are like Dreamhack champions. Like it's getting kind of intense, and then past that too. Like for me, it kind of opened up the door, just like we opened up Levin back into the podcast. Yo, what is up?
It's a pleasure to be back.
Nice.
Honestly, you guys seem like you needed me, so.
You're the one who threw us down this random ass rabbit hole. That's because like resident sleeper, bro.
Me personally, I'm looking at the list of things we're talking about. I'm like, how can we squeeze everything out of like every topic? That's why I brought us down here. But yeah.
What I was saying about the Cash Cup in general is that in terms of these one-off events, it's really cool when there's integrity behind them, right? I feel like sometimes they're dismissed because like stuff like the Chipotle Cup, the qualifiers are weird, or the format is bad, and like it's a cool idea, it has a good sponsor, but like because of the integrity, it's just not in the business, right? For me, it's like I'm just wondering, is this really the wave for cash cups and one-off events? Do people like playing?
No.
Like we can have our opinion, but in general, people like playing this kill-heavy format, this like this rush of a game, and then it's done. Like I was saying, look at the format. It was like 55 points for a VR, right, in total replacements, and each elim in this format is 6 points. So like, essentially speaking, you're getting a 10 elim game, like you're equivalent that to winning a game, which I don't think is the wave, and we figured out is not the wave. It's about FNTASIA a bunch of times, but like, why is this still happening in a sense?
My guess is that, you know, there's a person who's obviously making that decision on what the format should be, and it's likely, you know, that they're just a bit disconnected from what it is the players want from a format, or what the community feels is great for a format. And so hopefully, you know, like that is sort of communicated, right, so that, you know, we can avoid things like that happening. I'm sort of a bit just disappointed in I think DreamHack started to lose the feeling around it, because it felt like, right, we have it every month, you know, like you said, the million DreamHack champions, you know, people, it's becoming a bit saturated, right? I would have loved to see them just sort of maybe, you know, you limit DreamHack to one a season, and it's like maybe even a bigger prize pool slightly or whatever, and it just becomes more meaningful because there's only like one DreamHack champion per month. Attaching DreamHack to, like, this is sort of an extension to a cash cup, right? Like DreamHack has just become cash cup plus, and people already don't care about cash cups, right? So I don't know, it's not where I would have liked to see it go. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be a lot better than we all think it is, and maybe it'll be more entertaining to watch than we all think it is. But that's just my sort of thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard to follow. I mean, it's 132 teams. Like, I've already had my struggles with with how things like that are broadcasted. Dude, the way that it happens when we broadcast open events, and this has happened forever, all the way back to World Cup, where they were trying that like end game, like we're just gonna hop between end games sort of thing. Like it skips so much. I have no clue what's happening in all the other things. And if it happens like the DreamHack semis and DreamHack opens, we're broadcasted like, hopefully not with, you know, streams and like audio muted and like but like you miss so much if you're not like literally hopping between games like live as they're happening, and hopping between end games or early games and watching the WQ games. You can't get a full picture. It literally needs to be the viewing, like the full-on viewing party experience in order to watch this. You know what I'm saying? It has to.
I agree, but I'm looking at like, and I'm also countering Levin's argument of there's a dude making this decision. Obviously, through this decision, there are other positives in followable things that don't have to be the total story. Like people tuning in can watch Benji pop off, and that is just a story, whether or not someone else is qualifying or isn't. Like having this format, you get spectacle games from top players, guaranteed, right?
Yes.
Is that the aim? 100%. We're still losing, like, you know, the big picture, the total picture, but there still is a painting on the board, so to speak, right? But you're guaranteed watching these players having pop-off stuff.
You get that
interactions on Twitter,
cup. And you don't need those to be broadcasted. Like I have always been a proponent of let's broadcast cash cups if we don't, like, if we're not broadcasting anything else. But dude, we're going to it. Like Levin said, nobody really cares about cash cups, and in my mind, I like that. I like that we don't care about cash cups because they aren't the most competitive, relevant thing. I don't want the community to put cash cup winners on a pedestal, like I will later when I talk about Mr. Savage. But like, I don't want that to be the case. I want people to I want cash cups to be a thing where a lot of people play, yes, and it's very, really, very, very profitable for Epic. But I don't want it to be a focus of the competitive scene. I don't want people to. I literally don't think that people should really care about it. And I don't think pros should be playing it every single week. I wish that they had other options to play.
I think Fortnite Competitive actually agrees with you, because cash cups were completely canceled this month, pretty much. I'm moving past the DreamHack topic, so to speak, but like we can still talk about cash cups in general.
Oh, okay,
so
I thought this was something new. I was like, wait.
I was like, it's not like they just tweeted like we usually get. It's like recently there was like what's it called? There was like outcry, outlash, backlash. There was like a bunch of stuff going on Twitter while this was going on as well, which I never understand. Like people are mad at cash cups and then like they get canceled and then people are mad that they're canceled. Like it's just so backwards. And it's the same people. Like get a grip! Exclamation mark. But like anyways, this happened for NA East BR. If you go to the next tweet, they said, you know, will it happen for NA West? Happen for NA West as well. And then past that, there's another tweet which I completely forget. No, the DreamHack Cash Cup itself actually was canceled too. So we're talking about something that might not even be possible because FNCS is ramping up and starting up, and there's a bunch of other events that are also, you know, compiling 24/7. So in terms of cash cups not being here, you're saying, Ball, you know, pros should do something else. What is the something else that's available?
There is nothing else. That's my point. Like,
okay,
I wish that there wasn't. That was basically it, right? I wish that they had real practice. Like, I wish that the practice had some sort of incentive. I wish there was something that we could watch. Like I don't know. I always take chess as an example, but like I wish there was something like titled Tuesdays in chess where the best players are playing in a custom and it actually had some sort of prizing that isn't necessarily relevant, but it's at least the place where the pros can play and we could watch the pros play 100% rather than let's stomp on open bots and watch Mongrel get a 40 kill game and exclaim it as the best thing ever when the guy isn't even holding his wall. Like,
and what happened with Savage?
He just popped off. I mean, bro, this is such bad ordering, man. Like the cash cups are trash. Mr. Savage is a god. He won a cash cup. Wow. You fucking did that shit on purpose.
We could pull it up straight up the Savage street past the DreamHack one, Robbie. Yeah, dude. It's okay, but we'll have a sec for it. Yeah, Savage. You wanted to talk about it, Ball. What made this different, so to speak? Why is Savage the best player ever?
Look, this guy. I wonder if there's a place where we could see like the first Cash Cup win from a player and the most recent Cash Cup player or winner, because this guy has won so many of these things, and it's literally so easy for him at this point. I recommend everybody go watch that Cash Cup. I think it was something to learn from. I think, what was it? Was it NA East where he was abusing the stupid the double barrel shotgun and the eggs? I bet you it was both of them. But in any case, that was lit. There was a guy in Asia who just like literally used that and abused it and went 4th place or something like that and just stole the strat. Yeah, man, this guy has the best awareness, the quickest everything. There's a good reason why. Like, yeah, eats at the coolest restaurants. Shyo, you have something to say about his looks? Because I know all the way
like
back.
one time where we just fucked up and like we never have to bring it up again.
All you.
No, it's a wee moment, man. It's a wee moment. We're both on the screen. It has to be a wee moment. You know what I'm saying? Levin, take us off this little tangent here. What are your thoughts on Mr. Savage, man?
No, you man need to just keep going. Clearly, you guys have something going. Yeah, Savage is like, I think last season what sort of happened with Savage is where in his trio he sort of had Tayson, who's obviously renowned as like the best player in the world. Everyone sort of has their eyes on Tayson, and me personally, like I wanted to highlight iDrop a lot because I felt like he was sort of going underrated. And so you had everybody who's already talking about Tayson, can he be 3-time champ? And you have me pushing the agenda for look at iDrop. iDrop's actually really good. He's underrated, and that inherently meant that like, you know, Savage was sort of being underappreciated, and like people not necessarily looking at Savage and respecting Savage for sort of the player he was. And so I think now this is just like Savage doing what he always like. You know, I literally have the Savage Effect video, and it's about this, right? It's where like, you know, he sort of goes under the radar for a bit, then he has like a nice solo sort of performance that makes you remember, oh yeah, this is why he's, you know, Mr. Savage. So I sort of saw it like that. It was a great run. It was a great run. Entertaining. Like, you know, as much as, you know, we literally just had the thing of cash cups are boring, trash, whatever. You know, you can get excitement out of cash cups to some degree, and I think he sort of provided that. And it was an entertaining sort of run to follow. And I'd hope that, you know, in his new trio this season, you know, the eyes are sort of on him again, where it's like, you know, this is like a star player who we should be focusing on.
Okay, then I'm gonna be just like the kids who come through and the adults. Let me toss respect on your stream and ask you questions, Levin. Okay, and this is a question you got on your stream recently. Why Savage? Why Savage not the GOAT? What's the issue? Why aren't we talking about GOAT status Savage?
That's disrespectful, bro. What grand finals is outside of Anaheim has he performed like? You know what I'm saying? we're
True.
So like,
but in the amalgamation of everything, right, and the fact that the dude just won one of the most recent things, he has to automatically be up for contention for GOAT, right?
Well,
as per the Fortnite
right
community.
now.
You say he won one of the recent things. He won a cash cup, and we just talked about why we shouldn't really be looking at cash cups, right? So I think when you're talking about some of the greatest Fortnite players of all time, you have to mention Mr. Savage. But the difference is that there are so many other people that have major competition wins and major competition accolades that outweigh him. If you're talking about individually, like their individual brilliance and their ability, you know, talent-wise and whatnot, you know, there's not many people that actually compare. Like somebody said, who is like there was a tweet that blew up recently where it was like, who's the most naturally talented player you've ever seen? And I personally think Savage, like since day one of me following comp, like Savage has always been the person where I've watched and I'm like, it just comes to him naturally. Like it's different. Like I don't see this in many other people. It's just the major comp accolades aren't matching up with that skill to some degree, and not like to a point where you're like, he's an underperformer, or he's a failure as a player. It's just you got people like Aqua and Zate who are literally, you know, major competition winners on multiple occasions. So
all I'm saying is that this man won the most recent Fortnite LAN, so you know.
It's true. To be fair, I thought
right?
that he was hella underrated throughout the entirety of like in my mind when he wasn't like, you know, the comp awards thing. I think we talked about that on one FNTASia. Like the fact that he wasn't like voted for best solo player simply because he won the LAN in the most spectacular way. Dude, he didn't get enough credit for that, and I don't know why. But I guess it was early beginning of the year before FNCS started. We were in the drought. It was like the first thing we came out of. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think we were rammed in like DreamHack after DreamHack with solo performances. We were rammed afterwards. The meta was changing. Marvel superpowers. We were talking about who's here, who's there. So there's a lot of clouds, you know, in front of that sun. But yeah,
one thing I did want to talk about, Robbie, I don't know if you could pull it back up. You guys might not be able to see it anyways, but XWee's second. I dropped third. So Mr. Savage and I dropped that duo slash trio that's broken up at this point. Yeah, they're still up there, all grinding hard as hell. I think looking at the top of this list, I also like see the people who are not as tilted at the beginning of the season, you know, because this is a solo cash cup. If there's one place for you to culminate your tilt of the season, it's going to be in this mode. So the people who are here are probably staying focused for the season to come rather than getting distracted by, you know, the game and Fortnite and how it is, right? Because I don't see Benji. I know Benji's been having like a cash cup like renewal in his head where he's like, this sucks. I'd rather play customs or whatever. Another person up there, Refsguard, who that's Savage is on that trio now, right? Savage, Refsguard, and Andretta.
Yep.
So those two guys, that could be a sign that trio is potentially going to be grinding hard and come out swinging. Yeah, just like I always look at the Cash Cups results as just like some like small random narratives that potentially might end up coming up. But yeah, there you can see it.
It'll be fun to watch these guys contest at semi stacks and not get as high of a placement as a result. It'll be fun. Sucks FNCS.
True.
If you want to get good though, you know what I mean? If you want to be on Savage status and you want to speed things up, I guess movement is a big thing, right? I wanted to get a segue.
I was going to say one more thing, but since you had the perfect segue, I'll let it go. I'll let it slide.
So I mean, we can still talk about this. Like,
36
it's a small
degrees.
Touch. REWASD situation, WOOTING situation. You can call it a lot of things that sound like rap albums. But like this resurface, we don't have the tweet to show right now, but like apparently Benji leaked or like something happened. Like people are now allowed to use REWASD. Like, Levin, what's going on?
it's one of those things where like all we can do is hope that, you know, some form of communication comes out, because obviously it's sort of turned like it's created a frenzy within the community where the general consensus that I've seen for a lot of people is like, you know, fair enough. I'm not, I'm not upset about that. Yeah, REWASD, yeah, it makes sense that you'd allow us to use it now because of WOOTING keyboards and whatnot. But flipping out, you know, can you address it? Because there's issues apparently with like keyboard and mouse aim assist and stuff like that. There's a bunch of issues that are there. So like at this stage, like all we can do is sort of hope that, you know, we can get some sort of information about it, and you know, pray for Benji, because you know, if he's leaked something, mate, he's gonna have his head on a stick soon, mate. So yeah.
Yeah. Benji on stream said something. Not sure where he got the information from, but potentially real. It seems like, apparently. So yeah, we have to wait for communications, but for now it looks like we're back to being able to double movement. Especially with like keyboards and stuff. I don't really think that the keyboards were ever going to be super in question, just because it's like
WOOTING is
like,
having a stinker, man.
why?
Their company is dead. Like, why are you gonna buy a WOOTING keyboard if you could just use like their sales like department or whoever's like in charge of that company is just like looking at the timeline, going, "We've been fucking made, lads. They've got us. They've got us. We're done. We're finished." So yeah, it's not looking.
Yeah, tying your company to a monetary gain from a dev's perspective will never, or on like one dev's,
yeah,
never gonna work. Definitely a terrible business plan, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, no, I think it's probably good that we get to be double. Well, actually, it's not even double movement, right? It's more like it's full controller strafing, which is even better. So that's fair now. I'm not sure like what this means about like, for example, like let's make a controller that is like the WOOTING keyboard, except it gives you one button reset. Like,
That's what I was about to say, the same
you know, I don't know how many of those modifications and stuff like that are going to be okay.
I just want a PS5 controller that has like a big ass red button attachment that just says reset, and like you just slap that shit and single reset your builds, and everyone can just shut up about everything, man. We talk about this like every season. I understand like it's a big thing while playing, but Jesus Christ, like there's no developments anywhere other than this recent thing.
Well,
So
there was
like,
that one blog post that, like, I think it was last season, at the beginning of the season, where it was like macroing is not allowed.
yeah,
You know? And it was like, like,
so yeah,
it was
Like
basically
you-
saying like REWASD is not allowed, but in reality, I guess it's not as simple as that, because it's not. Is it even technically a macro? Like you're just changing what the key does, right? You're changing the key to controller left stick all the way, but it's not like macroing two keys together or anything like that.
yeah.
There's like technical complications, but like it clouds. It just clouds everything.
And then
like,
it also
clouds
conflicts against the whole thing where devs are like, oh, we never endorse third-party applications, right?
Mm-hmm.
It conflicts
No, but,
entirely against that.
Because the main what's it called, like one of the big things like for these programs that I thought about before is like people like Rocky No Hands, right? Like they rely on macros and whatnot to straight up play games. So like you know, there's always like the two-sided coin, like you're suppressed. Yeah,
I feel like it's always been like Epic is always, dude. I remember this guy at Secret Skirmish who like it was before the actual like competition started where they were doing the test games. This guy he was playing with a mouse in one hand and a controller in the other hand.
What?
And like this is something that Epic has always wanted to support, is like people not only like it's accessibility options for people with disabilities, but also just like in general, like let people play the way they want to play in terms of inputs and control and whatever. That's why that allow what is it? Ignore input options or something like that exists in the first place. It's so that you can do weird combinations of stuff that you otherwise would not think of. And Epic wants to stay open to that. And I think they've always wanted to stay open to that. I'm not sure if that's a factor here, because obviously there's no statement or anything. It's just Benji saying REWASD is allowed. But yeah.
Cool. Well, in terms of like,
Monster just reminded me. Yeah, the controller was turned around. I don't have a controller here, but it was like upside down, bro. He was playing like this, like with one hand on the buttons of the controller and then the mouse in the other.
No way.
jeez,
We got it
Those
on
guys
we
like
got it
a
on camera,
fighting
like
game,
on
bro,
camera.
like-
We did like an analyst segment on it. It was like a practice analyst segment on it. I wish that was like in the VOD somewhere.
If I'm signed to thinking about, and walk with me here, if I'm signed to thinking about this topic 24/7 every month, and I want to break free, what am I doing, Bala, if I'm in the Fortnite community?
Yeah, I'm going to Twitter. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm pushing my glasses up.
Okay.
I'm saying REWASD, like it needs to be free. I'm signed. I'm talking about this. I type hashtag FREE REWASD or whatever amalgamation of it's gonna be, bro. And then I'm like retweeting and I'm spamming it everywhere, and it probably won't work.
Levin, bro, you probably have a little bit to say on this, but for me, it's like I'm talking about the whole NAE situation that happened recently. Rob, we can pull it up. For me, it's more so hashtag free my mental. That's what I was kind of alluding to, because this is like what, the 19th time where I've seen this uncool move, honestly. At the same time, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. This is my personal take, but it's like, you know, people are signing contracts, they might be popping off and whatnot, and then they just want to be like, yeah, I want to move to the next tier 1 org, or I want to just go do my own stuff. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to take cuts. It's like, it's annoying personally. And once again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe there's some, you know, actual mystery stuff we don't know about. But from face value, it just looks like another one of these waves that is just like, what the heck, man? You know, it kind of, we're always on this like nice pace of orgs are this, orgs are that, Subway sponsorship, we're in the business, and then boom, another free a person comes out, and it's like, okay, it feels like we just took 8 steps back.
Yeah, I think it's always like important though to be able to clarify what the reality of the situation is, and that's why like it is really damaging when we see like stuff like FREEANDILEX, just because it's like we still technically don't know. Obviously, we have a rough idea now, I think, but we still technically don't know whether it's like a case of MCES with a predatory contract, or, you know, just a player signing a contract that they feel's just not right anymore, right? Which, you know, is just absolute bollocks. But I think, you know, there clearly just needs to be some form of education here for players when it comes to the latter of what I said, where, you know, players, I saw reactions to this, right? Because you got people like Resub and, you know, Monster and other people coming out saying things like, guys, you know, when you sign a contract, you know, you agree to the terms, regardless of if you blow up the next day or not, you agree to those terms yesterday, and so you're contractually obliged to those. I got fussy pros saying like, yeah, but, you know, if he feels like he's a better player, he's worth more, the org should respect that, and they should. Just do me a favor, man. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's okay, because nobody's ever educated you or told you that. And it's a shame, because, you know, some of these players I see and I'm just like, you know, you look really foolish here. You don't understand how the world works. Clearly, that's not how it works. And I think it's another case of a general Fortnite theme that we have, where in other aspects of life, it's reasonable to consider perspective, right? Like, you know, I feel this way, but, you know, if I look at from his perspective, this is probably why he thinks this way. That, you know, Fortnite pros don't think or care for any other perspective but their own. And it's a consistent theme that makes this community what it is, right? And it's like, Fortnite players never think, oh, actually, no, yeah, the reason they signed to me, I was pretty, you know, I wasn't the most amazing player, but I had potential. So they signed me now. I fulfilled my potential. And that's what their goal was. That's what they wanted. That's why they gave me a platform to be in an org, to be in a home, to get salaried, so that I would have a place to stay and grind while I reach my full potential. But no, I'm the better player now. You know, I deserve to go somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? So generally, there needs to be, maybe like I suggested, maybe like someone like Carter Pole, somebody who's like really has all the ins and outs of like the industry and sort of knows the details, who can just make a content piece where anytime anything like this happens, we all just link that piece like, no, watch this. This is why this works this way. You know what I mean? Hopefully we could just get something like that from somebody to just avoid all of this rubbish that just floods my timeline with just absolute rubbish. Just,
It makes me wonder, and also ask the question of, Why is everyone in an Aaron Yeager situation? Why is everyone trapped and thinking about freedom? Isn't signing these like orgs a good thing where you have like this dope system that can help you out as well in terms of hierarchy, in terms of uploading your content? Like, and it goes back to, you know, the things we talked about last week, where it's like, you know, where are these orgs and helping out their players and what they're supposed to tweet, how they're supposed to act, interview, training, and whatnot, like stuff that orgs are supposed to do. Why is it that every org is just literally a clan tag and a percentage cut? But essentially, is what I'm saying from these free posts. Why is it not like? Why don't people just like being there in the first place? Like, it's just very confusing to me. It just feels like it's like a random parent that never sees you at all and just like berates you once a month or something. Like, hey, you know, go clean your room, and then next month you better have it clean again. All it is, like, why? Where's the care and the nurturement, man? Like, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in Fortnite right now, and it is really an issue, right? Like that there is not much sort of, you know, personal development being done on that side. It doesn't seem like a lot of players. It doesn't seem like they take advantage of their orgs. You know, I was saying on stream yesterday, you know, no disrespect to anybody who's been on some of these bigger orgs like a FaZe or a Liquid or whatever, but if you're on FaZe and you don't leverage that to, you know, blow up your brand and make this something you can do for the rest of your life, you're either a fool or you don't care. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, that is what it's become. People are like, oh yeah, you know, I get a salary, you know, you get a cut, or with a lot of players, no, you're not getting a cut, you just salary me and that's it. Where's the ambition? Do you know, we always talk considering all of you kids are non-stop talking about, yeah, Fortnite's dead, Fortnite's gonna die, man. These guys don't listen, Fortnite's gonna die. All right, Fortnite's gonna die. What do you do next? Do you know what I mean? You're not even thinking about that. Like, let me actually leverage what I have available to me. It seems like a lot of these kids won't consider that. I don't, and the reality is, it's like, shame on a lot of the orgs for like just allowing it to be that way to some degree, but at the same time, it's a matter of young scene of young players who don't really have a clue. So
can we contextualize this specific situation a little bit? Because to me, this is even weirder, given the fact that this is MCS, an org who does like these team streams, right, during FNCS and whatnot. Like, they follow their players, they try to promote them as they can on their side. And then at the end of, what was it? Was it the first FNCS this last year where FREEANDILEX re-signed to MCS? So it seemed that at some level he was pretty happy with what MCS was doing for him, and that was like after a win as well. So just contextualizing it in that sense, where, you know, it's he's re-signing, he seems to be happy. All of a sudden he's not happy. All of a sudden we're not necessarily pushing as far as we go. I think that the points you guys have are 100% valid. Like, they should be taking advantage of the org if they can, and potentially these relationships also shouldn't be getting to the point where they're antagonistic. Because as soon as this happens, you're never going to be able to leverage the org again, like in a way that grows you, because that relationship is damaged. Well, I don't know if it is in this case, and I hope it's not. But whenever something like this happens, you definitely have to assume that something like that is the case, where you don't end up being able to do much in promotion wise because you don't have a good relationship with the content managers and whatever. I think that's damaging for sure. One thing that's interesting though, it's like this is the Fortnite community has somehow created a way where they have at-will contracts in some cases.
Yeah.
And that's honestly like that's pretty damn good for them. And the thing is, for them, like Levin said, it's about me. It's about it's not about the long term, about the community, about other players, about anything like that. It's about me when I sign these contracts. And I think that players should be coming from that perspective. But thinking long term, we're seeing all these orgs leave Fortnite, and then this stuff happens. Like, yeah, like there who was it? Okay, let's go through the list real quick. Free Mitro, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was free. Was it Edgy, or I think it was Edgy from FlyQuest. FlyQuest is gone. Atlantis is gone. Free.
To be fair, for the FlyQuest one, there was some, you know, tomfoolery going on in the background with that. I feel like that was a valid one,
really?
But regardless,
I don't know the details, and none of these details are anywhere. So it's not like we can really. You're saying it's tomfoolery, so like, what's happening there?
Oh, dude, like just there's stuff that was happening that I'm still not sure I could talk about till this day, but there was stuff happening in the background where I feel like that one movement was the one that was justified. But
I
then
feel
also,
like FlyQuest is an org that's been pretty like reputable, and so here's where I'm getting at as well. Okay, because I think some of this tomfoolery is important to talk about too, and the fact that we've gotten to this point where it's like they've actually gotten at-will contracts in some cases is maybe good. So, anyways, free day, right? That's the last one, and that was because he re-signed to a longer term contract when he didn't even realize the implications. Like I don't know. Obviously, there's some aspect of talk to a damn lawyer. But
was free Zexro a thing?
Free. Oh, well, okay, that one was actually well handled from Zexro though, because it was a predatory contract apparently, and I think it actually did get released or something. And he used a lawyer. He literally used a lawyer, and then eventually was able to get bought out by TSM. Like, remember there was a whole situation where somebody was they were like posting this like public statement about the Knights organization or whatever. Yeah, there was free TF2, but that was also a big different scenario. Like people are trying to mention, it's like, no, that's completely irrelevant. So here's where I stand on this entire topic, and it sucks to me that some of the endemic orgs are actually almost always it's the endemic orgs who are suffering from this. The endemic orgs to Fortnite, the guys who are always here, the guys who have been here since day one and are continuing to support the scene. Teams like MCS, teams like Atlantis who get screwed. Teams like, was there an RBK one? Anyways. There are predatory orgs out there. We've seen it over and over and over and over. And I guarantee you, even some of the best orgs, like Cloud9, for example, who everybody's like, oh, Cloud9's a tier 1. Even those contracts, you can clearly see the impact of having some shitty clauses in there, right? So I feel like the fact that we can do this as a community is actually probably pretty good against some of these orgs that are taking advantage like crazy to others. Like, because there are some scummy people out there. How many times have we seen the what was that situation with
Evil Cake Army?
Evil Cake Army 11. You've popped off on a few orgs that have just been complete stride supremacy, like some BS out there. And here's why I'm okay with free whatever. I'm okay with some of this stuff because it starts conversations like these where Levin and Shyo and Reese are all tweeting and saying, motherfuckers, talk to your lawyer. Like, talk to a goddamn lawyer. Because every time this happens, it teaches these people, it teaches the kids, it teaches everybody, like...
But not well enough, though, clearly. Not well enough.
Well, I mean, it's only been, what, 2 years? Like, of course it's going to keep happening. We're not going to educate a whole freaking 13-year-old army in 2 years. Like, this takes time. And it will continue to take time. Like, it's not going to be solved in one time.
I don't know, man. If you go to, like, you know, Arab uploads inside the mind of a lawyer, I mean, this guy taught Deadside rotates in a month. He could possibly teach, you know.
Well, Arab, get on it.
But that's why I said it'd be good if we had something that we can always just reference to people, right? Because it seems like we have these conversations, they fade away, then we have to have them again. Whereas if we just had something that we could consistently go to, then, you know, maybe it'd be better.
Here's the other side of the coin, though. Lawyers also work for orgs, and orgs are also trying to do their best to get whatever value they can out of some specific ways. So, like maybe an agent in this case, you're talking about Carter Pulse or somebody doing something like that. Yeah, we do need the basics, educations out there. But even then, people are not going to go watch that. Like, you're not going to get Mitra to go watch a fucking how to use a lawyer video. Like,
unless, like, suppose he could unlock like 15 seconds of the video at a time if he boxed someone up in one moment. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there is ways to get people to watch stuff. It's possible.
Here's the real place that should be doing it. It's the FNPPA. Like,
who?
That is true. No. You know what? Thank you for saying that, because they are actually the #1 place for that information to be given out. And in fact, the fact that that hadn't even crossed my mind, I'm actually a bit livid now. Now that I think about it, the FNPPA are the ones that are supposed to do that. And what?
No, you were about to pop off. I was ready for it. Like,
pop off.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna pop off. Then I was like, I'm actually technically like an advisor to that, so shame on me. Shame on me, but yeah, that is true. The FNPPA are actually the #1 source for that, to be fair. So
An advisor to the FNPPA needs to be asked to advise. And there
True.
needs to be something there, because as far as I know, there's literally nothing happening.
Hold on, let me see if I'm an advisor as well.
I'm pretty sure all 3 of us are advisors.
Why
all
the
three of
hell
us
is
are
3
advisors.
casters advise? Like, that doesn't even. Anyways, I've done one thing in that Discord. So essentially, I talk to lawyers, talk to agents. Don't get screwed like this. Stop signing 6 months or 6 month plus contracts, because Fortnite moves quickly and so does your career, right?
Mhm.
Catch the bag, sure, but catch the bag responsibly.
Yeah.
And then shout out C9 for like dodging all this and dropping their players before they can make hashtag free tweets. Let's go. Nice. We'll move on to fun stuff.
Can I quickly say though, Shyo? Because I think
Yeah.
this topic is something. It's the kind of thing where I genuinely feel that you could have a whole podcast about this. But it was interesting because when all this stuff was sort of happening, it sort of linked into like some tweets from Blake, where Blake was like making the point of like, why are orgs even useful in Fortnite anyway? Like, what's the point of being on an org? And if you actually go on Reddit, the comp Reddit, I know a lot of you probably hate the comp Reddit, but if you actually go on the comp Reddit and find that sort of post, there were actually like people from TSM, right, who obviously recently pulled out of competitive Fortnite, and there were people from TSM like really like going into depths of things of like, yeah, these are sort of the issues we have. So I think, you know, if you want more insight into why TSM probably left and that kind of thing, you should try find that post on Reddit.
I would love to find this post like right now and read it.
Yeah, because it
super
was good.
interesting.
It was good.
Well, on the
That's
topic
the
of that
question
too,
that
like,
Shyo has been asking like every single episode, though. It's like, what does an org do in Fortnite? And it is 100% a valid question, valid concern, because obviously, very obviously, winning is not the goal for orgs in Fortnite anymore. It used to be back when we had the Liquid Boys. That was the goal at first. It was like, let's get somebody who wins World Cup or whatever. At this point,
It'll
I
be
think
the
that
goal
idea
again.
has faded. It will be the goal again once we get, well, will it?
well, if Dub C2 gets announced, then 100% it will be.
If what, sorry?
As soon as kids are walking away with 50K a person, right, or maybe even more, maybe slightly less, who knows? It's like 100%. It's going to be based on, you know, who's going to place the highest.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's going to care about what your YouTube looks like.
Was more like, are we going to have the World Cup at the same scale where it is that sort of 50K every
Oh,
single player?
true.
You know, maybe it's such a gamble to try to go for the best player who's going to actually give you that impact, anyways. You know, and
yeah, and then it's a double-edged paradoxical sword, because if you go for the medium player, the smaller player, suddenly they win, and it's a hashtag, you know, hashtag free tab day situation where it's like now the dude doesn't want to pay, like now we're moving on, like it's a cycle, man. It's a cycle.
Yeah, I think I think it definitely is a weird sort of balance. I think right now, if you're an org, the only way you're gonna get value out of winning is if you do it the guild way, where you just have so many good players that you're constantly winning, so everyone's talking about you winning. But that in itself has its issues, that, and not every org can do that. In fact, very few amounts of orgs can do that and see value in that. The reality is the way orgs make money from Fortnite, the way orgs sort of, you know, profit in a sense, not necessarily, you know, in actual revenue from Fortnite, is compared to other esports, the socials aspect of Fortnite is insane, right? Like, you know, orgs can go to sponsors and different people who they can collaborate and work with and be like, I got Fortnite players, look at all these views, all the viewership on Twitch, on YouTube. Their socials are massive. If you know, work with us, we can promote this, and it's bigger than anything else. That is the main sort of, you know, way, like sponsorship money, right? And that's actually the way for a lot of esports. And I think that's why, you know, a lot of esports, they're looking for ways where they can make revenue in other ways, right? Whether that be, you know, media share in terms of leagues and whatnot. Obviously, because we don't have that in Fortnite, massive issue for orgs. And that's why I think that's actually the main thing that the TSM people were saying, like, outside of sponsorships and leveraging player sizes to sponsors, there's no way for us to make money. And, you know, we can just put more effort into other games where there are more ways to profit. And so it's definitely difficult. I think that's another whole conversation, right, that we could just lead into for another like 30 or so minutes. But I think the big thing is, like, if you're an org, ideally for a next World Cup, you want the chance to get the next Booga, but at the same time, it's so risky because if you're not winning, the reality is if you're not winning, how big is it? No disrespect to any of the other people, but like, you know, for if you're top 10 in World Cup, it's a huge achievement. You make a load of money, but you don't really get that same sort of media boost in the way the likes of Booga did for getting first. And we actually even saw it in duos where, you know, Nyrex and Aqua, it boosted them in their countries a lot, and their brands a lot in the Fortnite community, but they didn't turn into the global, you know, figures that Booga has sort of become because he's the World Cup champion. So
I'm not sure if that's like an org issue entirely though, compared to like just the ecosystem in general of like, you know, winners versus second places. Like
it's a Fortnite, it's battle royale. That's the whole the whole thing, right? There's other reasons why duos World Cup, but we won't get into that. I think I'm ready to move on. I'm bored of this topic already.
Okay,
we talk about it every time.
I needed to edit the next topic, so just give me like a hot sec. What do you guys have any cool things on your minds?
My man is
just give me a hot second
editing
here.
the next topic. I wonder. Interesting.
Hold on, let me play some hop skip jump real quick. What's okay, let's talk about this real quick. You mentioned this term, the GOATs right now. I want to talk about some of the GOATs right now real quick.
The greatest of all time.
Robert,
right now.
The GOATs of all time right now. FNTASIA, Snazy, and a squeeze. Another week, another dub. You know, and this is also a section where 11. Past this, you're host of the show. You're host of the show for the rest of the episode until the very end. So you control it. See what's up. You got the topics. Talk it out. What's up?
welcome back, everybody, to another episode of FNTASIA. I am your host, Levin2K. I'm going to be joined by the amazing Bala TW and Shyo Wager. You know, you can insert a cool, you know, philosophical point that leads into something Fortnite related like Shyo would. I'm just going to get right to the business, right? Obviously, in the past sort of weeks, we've seen some amazing, spectacular, I'm talking some of the best Fortnite we've seen in a pretty good time from FREEANDILEX, Squeeze, and Snazy. And I think it has sort of begged the question, right, of although it is preseason and FNTASIA hasn't started, it's around the corner, you know, these guys look like one of the strongest teams, considering we've just had an FNTASIA where it was arguably the most stacked of all time, right, where we had so many teams who you thought could win it. These guys are looking like the only real dominant force in that sort of off-season time. So I want to know from you, Bala, right? Because you actually made your return to VOD reviewing in Fortnite, right? Like what a revelation! These guys must be really good if they made Bala come back and do Fortnite VOD reviews. So you know, what did you think of them when you watched them, Bala?
I actually was trying to VOD review the Mr. Savage solo cash, but I couldn't because the game was down.
Yeah. Oh dear. Stinker.
No, you fumbled that one. one. No. It was impressive, and it continues to be impressive. This is now 3 out of 3 for FREEANDILEX and for Snazy and X-Squeeze when they're actually playing with the full trio. It's 2 out of 2. The Solar Cup that we looked at last time. And they look good, man. They look very good. They have this caddy corner like dominance going on. In this tournament specifically, they had a team that they were kind of farming a little, which I don't know if that's going to continue. I don't know if they're actually going to get a team that's going to be actually actually having a chance against them, because this was 6 out of 6 games that they won off of spawn and like this. So, you know, when that happens, it like flips the script of, oh, grand finals, nobody contested will ever win, because it's literally them like getting free points, free shield. Well, not in this case. They were losing like one player pretty much every time, getting one knocked. But yeah, that drop is amazing. And their mid game is insane. The way that they're able to W key people and get like 5 to 6 elims by the time end game starts, like they're always refreshed. They always have peppers to be able to take height in 5th or 6th zone. And yeah, I mean, that's how they won both of the games that they played in this one. And they will always have elims as well to go with it. So definitely fierce. I think the big takeaway for me, though, is that this is probably not going to necessarily stick once somebody competent is challenging them for height with some sort of tool that they can actually use to control, because not a single time after they took height Was anybody looking up? Was anybody looking back and trying to take it? It felt like the early days of squads when we had this mobility meta, where the height team would just be like chilling, and nobody would ever contest them. Nobody would ever knock them down. Nobody would try to take from multiple sides. I don't think that's going to stick. So the good thing is that this team will probably be really, really good mid-ground anyways.
Yeah, I think when you actually look at it, they're an example of a team where their off-spawn fundamentals were already really solid last season. Like when I would watch them last season, the one thing that like really stood out to me with their off-spawn stuff was they're really good at finding pinches when they're contested off-spawn. Like, you know, finding the right time for two of them to pincer in on one player and just really just quickly sort of close out that fight was really, really special. Now their drop spot's even more OP, right? Like their drop spot's been buffed. And so it's like, it's just an amalgamation of all these things coming together, which is making them look really good. I sort of agree with you there in terms of like, it seems weird, like watching some of the end games, we have more RPGs in the lobby available, don't really see them coming to play too much. Like, it's weird. I think we could potentially see a case where they start to not get nerfed is not the word, but like more people sort of come into the fray when it comes of like dominant height teams, because they're a team where their endgame fundamentals are so good that they can play anywhere, and it so happens that because of how many peppers they have, they're like really looking to take height a bunch of the time. How does that progress over the course of the season? I think they'll continue to do that, assuming nothing else really comes into play, and so they're probably going to remain as one of the more dominant trios. I think they're the GOATs of right now, but they're going to continue to just be the GOATs.
Is this? I'm always nervous when I see preseason like type of results like this, because, well, especially once we get to trio cash cups and it still happens. But like, there's always been this team in EU that's been like, oh, these guys are freaking amazing. Like Hen, Deciptos, and Putrick in season 4, right? Where it was like these guys are.
God.
Yep, exactly. And then they end up not being up there. They just end up losing out, because I guess like it's a factor of like everybody like, oh, we should watch these guys, and now we know how they play, now we know how we can recreate, and we're all going to try that. Yeah, I always think that that's going to be a factor, and so you have to keep eyes on them. I think for sure they've pushed their way up to be top 3, top 5 in like power, like overall power rankings, especially considering like this is maybe like the only trio that we 100% know for sure is sticking together outside of some of the ones that have stuck together, like Anas and Benji's and stuff like that. For everybody else, it's like we don't know. We don't know if ForZR and Tayson and them are going to be sticking together. We don't know Mongrel, Mitra, Milan is sticking together. All these different things like we talked about last week.
It also depends on like, you know, how the format for the next FNCS would look, or like how the qual weeks would work, which, you know, maybe we have information for, maybe we don't. We'd have to wait for like a tweet, right?
It feels like every single dude, they know the podcast
they have
is
to
on.
know.
They have to know. Because
know. Dude, the thing is, we usually go live at 2 p.m., right? And then the tweet comes out like 3 or 4. Go live at 9 at 10 a.m. exactly. Like, I swear to God, bro. Stevie is like awake somewhere, and like he's waiting for when is FNTASIA going live tomorrow, and then he sends the tweet. Dude, Levin, what are we talking about here?
The blog post that's just come out.
You're the host of the show, bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, no.
You're fired after this.
Do me a favor, Bala.
I set you up so well, man.
Do me a favor, Bala.
There he goes again. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Every time, do me a favor.
Shut up.
Look, I'm reading the post because this actually looks very juicy, right? It looks like they're giving us insight into the.
Let's read it together, Levin. We're on the podcast, man.
Also, can I quickly ask you something? You know the previous weeks, right, where like you weren't like in VMix or whatever. You can't see us, right? I see you guys like live. All I'm seeing is just you from stream, like delayed. So like,
you can open your old VMix link, right? add a hold on for a second, guys. Open a new VMix link and just turn off your camera in it. Like add a different camera, whatever. Add some Duke, whatever other sorts you have, and turn it off, and just keep it open as a tab, and you can see us.
Look at him having the realization moment. Look at babyface loving. All right, pull up the post, Robbie. Let's move on. Pull up the post.
Let me know if it works.
We got schedule, we got prize pool, which is the same. I'm pretty sure. I think the breakdowns might have slightly changed. Oh, yes, they did. Brazil is on point with NAS, right? That was
Brazil was always on point with NAS.
Fuck, god damn it. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
And then we have format stuff. So yeah, all right. Passing it back to our host.
Okay, so
Keep the post up, Robbie. What are you doing?
Robbie, keep the post up.
No, this guy,
Dude, this is
no. Give me a second, yeah. This Robbie guy is an enemy of progress, yeah, because this brother's they're giving it back to 11. Let me just screw him completely. Like, brother, come on, give me a chance. All right. Just do me a favor. Just take this off. Like, what is going on, man? Like, what is going on? Like, what are you doing to me? Well, I'm taking back to the blog post. Thank you. All right. So,
Robbie gets bullied by the gang.
Look, what we got going on here, obviously, when it comes to the prize pool and stuff, right? Obviously, we talked about that just now. You know, nothing much has changed there. I think not much expected. Interesting to see. You know, NA West still, NA East and NA West 3 and BR still on the same, you know, sort of level there. I really would love to know, like, why they make that decision. Like, it's a conversation that sort of I see in like other esports now. Obviously, you know, Valorant, man, Bala, like this is a thing with you know Valorant where it's like, you know, who do we give certain spots to, right? In terms of like an international LAN. In Fortnite, like who do we give the prize into? Like, why is it? Because we know BR has the second most players, so why is it on par of NA West? Like, are they looking at level of play in that sense? Like, what is it that's making it like that? I guess we'll never know though. So who cares?
No, we don't. In Valorant, we don't care about prize pool because we care about winning and winner's mentality. So.
We don't care about Valorant. Right, scroll down, Robert. Scroll down, son. Scroll down, son. Let's get to the business. Let's get to the business because we got format stuff. And I think everybody wanted to know what's going on, right? You know, heats, you know, each of the different rounds, what's going to change. So it looks like here they say we've made slight adjustments to this season's qualification format. That one's interesting. They say slight adjustments. See how far that one goes. As a reminder, teams that placed first, second, or third in last season's FNCS for their respective region already qualified to the final. So they are keeping that, guys. Right? We did have the question, are they going to allow people to sort of, you know, are they going to change anything to do with that? Because a lot of the players are seemingly complaining about it, right? We don't want to have to just go straight to finals. We want to play the qualifier weeks. It does seem like they're going to just stick with that. You know, you can go straight to that finals. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's a howler.
Yeah.
There's a howler. Three, like, okay, so the teams who got top three literally cannot play, and this is our fear, and it's come true. I don't think it's as big as a fear as everybody else is making out to be, but these guys are going to be bored. They're going to be complaining. They're going to be mad. We might have more teams break up now, I think, honestly, now that it's confirmed.
Yeah. The only saving grace for this change in my mind was the fact that it might keep teams together and it solves the issue of, like, you know, no org play in Fortnite, but like didn't work in EU, first place team disbanding. Like, I just feel like this needs to change. I literally commented on a Reddit post about, like, there was a question, should Booga qualify automatically to the next World Cup? Like, should they be invited? I commented on the idea of things where it's like, you can't just have a player skip an entirely new season with new items, with the new meta. Like, it needs to be like, there needs to be some sort of integrity and some sort of story to follow. Like, even if they trip up, as part of the story makes their next win better, so to speak, right? Like, I don't know. I just feel like semis is max the place they should go to, may be invited back for every single qual guaranteed. I think that is lit. You know, every single final round of qual, the winners of the FNCS maybe should go there and skip all the dumb stuff, you know, or it's not dumb, but like the menial stuff from round 1 to 3. I think that is a cool change. I think this finals change was experimented with. I guess we'll see the change of that this season, but I wish they held off.
Where you going, Robbie? Where you going? Calm down, big man. Just stay up there. No, it's all good. It's all good. You're good. A bit more. You're good. Yeah, you're good. All right. So, you know, this is very interesting to me. I've just been skimming along as you've been going off there, Shyo. Top 3 teams from each qualifier will skip semis and go directly to the finals. All other teams earn series points to advance to semis. So not only are top 3 teams, you know, or top, you know, we had top 10 qualified to semi-finals, heats or whatever. If you're top 3, you go straight to the grand finals. What do you make of that, Ball? I see your face. You look a bit disgruntled. What are you thinking?
Dude, I always wanted this sort of idea. where teams actually their performance within qualifiers ends up sending them to the grand finals, gives them an incentive to really try hard in every single week. But I think they're jumping the gun, and I think they're kind of doing it slightly. Well, for my let's see how it works, because I'm not saying that this is terrible right away. I honestly like the idea of teams having to try hard as possible, and I think that compared to last season where it's like, oh, they have to try hard to get top 8 to qual, when in reality they're going to qual anyways. Getting top 3 is not something that's guaranteed for them in any weeks, for any trio, right? They actually have to try to get it at some point. They can't just turn on the switch and get top 3 at the end. And this gives them enough incentive that they're 100% going to go for it, because it's skipping semifinals, it's skipping heats entirely. So we get to go to the grand finals. And from what I'm reading here is heats are harder too. My one gripe is that it's, once again, keeping them out of the future weeks if they make it, and I feel like series points, at least from what I'm seeing and reading in this blog post so far, it's not where it needs to be for people to really understand that and be able to follow it. I don't think we have a series point leaderboard that is active. I haven't seen proof of that, and from what I've seen of like arena point leaderboards and the series point leaderboards in the past, it's not going to be in that state unless something has drastically changed. I still don't think people, the average viewer, shit, even me, I still don't understand how series points are divvied out, like where the break points are for like how you gain them and whatnot. So it's like, it's putting more emphasis on that. I think that's good for, it's so tough because like even once you get to finals, it's like, I feel like you're still going to be in the situation where it's like, oh, I qualified for finals. All I have to do is get to round 3 at this point. All right. So yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm happy that it's a small amount of people, and I'm happy that it's the incentive is we get to qual all the way to finals. I think that's good.
Shyo, any thoughts on that?
I am just scared that series points are going to be the most mysterious thing and completely untrackable, and it'll actually be harder to figure out. My bad. I was kind of tuning out like the total encompass of what Bala was saying, what you guys were talking about for the past little bit, just trying to read this. But unless you guys already mentioned it, I just feel like this might be another like VCT type situation where like I don't know who's qualing where. I just want it to be like, I think this is a good change in general for like the series points. It literally means that there's an actual difference between 4th and 5th now, right? Like 5th and 6th for seeding as well. But like, it needs to be transparent. Like I want to know if I'm invested, what each points are, what they mean, and if they're updated in a good time. Because before it took like 5 days to figure out the heats and whatnot. Is that how it's going to be every single week? And then past that as well, I was also looking at the schedule. I'm thinking about the broadcast right now. And there's another thing to talk about, which is reboot round. That's fine. The fact that there's 3 heats now, can we still watch all the heats from all the regions? Because that's a big factor in building the story. And I feel like semis should still have their own weekends with each heat on a separate day, so everyone can watch all the games. I feel like that's still not possible. Like there's now a reboot round day and a semis day. I think that's not how it was last time, but reboot has been changed, and we can talk about that as well. My goal, or like one of the things I wanted to see happen this FNCS, was heats really be the part where, you know, the entire show, the entire competition elevates. That's how it was before, but I felt like the show was slightly lacking a little bit on that side, where we had to choose between heats. We had to, you know, maybe not watch some of the greatest stuff due to scheduling. I felt like this might have been a chance to fix that, but I'm not sure if you guys see it from this one, from this change. 3 heats, 1 day. We're still missing a heat, right, on broadcast?
Has to be.
Yeah.
There's no chance that you're watching like all heats or anything. I'm guessing they're going to be missing 2 heats on broadcast.
So now we have to miss, I don't know.
It's 2 out of 3. My guess is, but I don't know. You have to actually look at the schedule, and obviously the heat schedule is not out or anything like that. So, but yeah, having them all on the same day to me means that you're going to be only watching 1 heat.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's always been worried about, like, you know, quals. Well, what's the integrity there? For me personally, I've had like a very hard thought about. Sounds weird. Very big.
Only weird because very deep. Weird. No,
I've just had thoughts.
Jesus Christ,
about heats. That's all I'm trying to say. I just feel like that is the part that needs to be elevated, so to speak. So
Mhm.
still feels like there's work to be done there. Reboot round looks crazy, man.
Yeah.
Looks absolutely insane.
So to give everybody the rundown, right? Just to quickly just go over it, because I feel like we're all just like trying to absorb this and give our thoughts, and it's a bit messy here and there. So first things first, qualifiers, right? The majority of people, to get to the actual semis and eventually finals, the majority of people are going to be trying to earn series points, right? Top 3 for each qualifier week will automatically go to finals. Everybody else is on a series points basis. Next round, semifinals. Semifinals is going to be 3 heats now. Obviously, because of this, right, it does change reboot round a bit, which we'll get to. But 3 heats, you want to get what it says 7th to 17 will go to reboot round. Top 6 are going to qualify through to the finals. And what this means is that reboot round, they're actually going to have 3 matches, right? At the minimum, 3 matches for reboot round. And the reason they're going to have this is so that, once you win a game, the winner of each game qualifies through to finals. And the reason why there's minimum is because if any teams who auto-qualified from last FNCS split up, it gives them a shot to play in there. I'm wondering with sorry. I thought maybe something else, but no, it's fine. And then finals will remain unchanged. The teams will have 12 total matches across 2 days to earn points before we crown our FNCS Season 6 champions. So that's essentially the rundown of all the changes. Shyo?
I just realized that we're basically watching like mini LCSs or mini leagues like every single weekend. Like, because everything before was always kind of attuned to like in different esports. I'm basically just thinking about like LCS, LEC. It's like over the entire season of like spring or summer, people battle for points, and like the top 2 or top 3 teams get rewarded. And essentially, instead of having it over 6 weeks, we have that relationship over 6 games. The only very transparent thing, and I already just said this before, in things like League of Legends, is that it's single digit points for series, for like the points that teams are accumulating per season. In Fortnite, we're dealing with 3-digit numbers, like hundreds of points allocated to each team because there's so many placements, right? You say that doesn't matter, and I think we've had this argument over time, Ball. This has been a sword and shield battle that we've had.
Yeah.
I feel the numbers
the
do
arguments
matter.
We've had over, have been over point format, and I also think that it doesn't. I think yes, it matters visually, and I think it matters and helps complexity and whatnot. But if you have to have big numbers, then you have to have big numbers, and that's the reality of it. You can't just truncate numbers and bring them down because all of a sudden then you're adding volatility, you're adding randomness because we're in the single digits. So like if you have to have bigger numbers, you have to have bigger numbers, and we have so many damn teams in this game that's just how it has to be, because otherwise it ruins integrity.
That leaderboard just has to be fresh then. Like it's just got to be fresh 24/7.
Yes, it has to be. And it won't. I'm scared that it won't be. I am very scared that it won't be. But
yeah,
like when you think about how this season is now, let's think about the week to week narrative into semifinals and grand finals. Week to week, it's week 1. We have hype, right? 3 people are going to qualify for grand finals here. 3 teams are going to qualify for grand finals. That's cool. That's something that we 100% can harp on, and then everybody else, it's just kind of weird. It's in this weird state where it's like, like what's happening here? I think that series points will keep everybody playing as hard as they can, just because, right? And then week 2 comes around. 3 more people are going to qualify for grand finals, and 3 more people. So 9 total teams will qualify from the qualifiers, and each time it'll be probably even stakes. Maybe it'll droop a little bit because most people are qualifying for semifinals, and I think people won't yet understand the idea of, they're actually qualifying for grand finals. I think that'll be hard to explain. I think that's going to be a focus for a lot of people. Is going to have to be like on like educating that these guys are going to grand finals if they make it. I feel like if you make it to finals already, you're going to make it to semifinals. If you make it, this nomenclature, bro. If you make it to round 4, if you make it to the custom stages during the qualifiers, if you make it to those qualifier finals, then you're going to be making it to semifinals already. Kind of dampens that idea of, oh shit, we're going to have a team that's last second qualifying for series points. I think that's going to be really, really hard to follow. And I think that all comes back to, we need a very functioning series point leaderboard that we can track and actually reference on a broadcast or in the viewing parties and whatnot. Because otherwise, that's going to be impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the aspect I want to just see how it plays out, because if anything, with how volatile a lot of teams are, like with how much teams switch up and people you sort of come together and play with each other, you know, I guess this really rewards people who stick together. Like if you just stick with your trio over the course of the 3 weeks and you know make it to round 3s, you're most likely just gonna qual, right?
There will be no Wolfies, CRR, like who was it? That there was like 3 trios.
Letchi, Wolfies,
Letchi, Wolfies,
and
dude.
Yeah.
That there will be none of that.
Save
There'll
it,
be save it. There you go. Yeah. There will be no team like that because it is not possible for them to qualify in 1 week. That won't be possible unless they win in the last week or get top 3. And I think that's too big of a gamble for teams to go for, especially the teams that are on the fringe anyways, right? Where they're just trying to eke their way into top 10. No, I mean, maybe it'll happen. That'll be cool. That'll be cool. Hey, shit, if it happens, that'll be like the coolest thing. It'll be easy to pay attention to, because there's not going to be this situation where top 10 is filled with people who are qualified by series points, because nobody will have that qualified to grand finals by top 3. You know, that was the weird part. It was like series points quals you for it quals you for heats. Let's just use heats. It quals you for heats, but top 10 also quals you for heats. And then it's like top 10 is filled with people who are qualified for heats already, and it doesn't even matter. Yeah, you know, so that was the confusing part. That was the hard part to wrap your head around. Now there will literally be nobody in the thing that has qualified for grand finals already. So that is a completely new and better incentive. So that is great. That is fantastic.
It's just the extra step of translation now at the final leaderboard that we'll see that, oh, this is their series points. Like by week 2 or 3, man, I think week 2 especially, like you'll have to say the person's standings and then also explain standings people can't see. Because like, you know, the broadcast probably going to be looking the same in terms of there's going to be that leaderboard. FN tracker is going to be the same with just having that day's leaderboard, right? But the leaderboard to pay attention to will be the series points leaderboard. So you're gonna have Kinch open on one screen, you know, the gameplay open on another, and then Fortnite tracker, but then you want your in-game Fortnite tracker on as well, just in case you want a faster update. Like there's just gonna be an extra tab, which I still feel like for the format, like it's a step in the right, on awesome direction. And yeah, it's just, yeah.
Well, unless there's anything else you guys want to say, something that's sort of gone under the radar here that I think we should, you know, highlight and maybe talk about for a bit. Apologies once again, Robbie, but I'm gonna need you to bring that shit back up. You need to bring that back. Like, you're gonna have to bring that shit right back up and scroll all the way to the bottom, Robbie. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, because they've given us more...
Before we move on, bro, we gotta talk about the reboot round more. We gotta talk about the reboot round.
We didn't talk about it for just a second.
Because we're going from a single match with the Victory Royale matters to now potentially 6 matches.
Yeah.
In EU, it's already 4 matches for sure, where the Victory Royale matters. Dude, this is gonna be I do not like this change. Personally,
dude, why do I feel like it's my baby's going up and growing to college? Like, why am I not mega excited? Like, because you're on, like, you know, that same way. But I'm looking at changes and I'm like, whoa, chill. Why are you wearing that top? Well, why are you going out at 12 a.m.? Why are you changing things? You know, why do I feel like that? Because on paper, you're right? It seems weird, but it's like so many more reboot matches. This is not what people wanted. Is this not what the... Is this... No, are you not entertained?
The hype factor is about it being one. It's just one opportunity. That is where that hype is coming from. Yes, the Victory Royale moment is cool. No.
3 times.
Well, in theory, right? If you have it. But in theory, right, if you were to have a scenario where on a region it's 6 teams that need that place, right? After like the 5th game, the lobby is going to be like way less stacked, right? Because you just lose 15 players, no, from the lobby.
Or sure, but it doesn't matter. It's just going to go all the way. Yeah, it's just like it's still going to stay stacked towards the end.
Yeah, of course. But like, I don't know. Just it seems weird. Like I know what you mean, but like, I think that the excitement was, you know, one game is what matters. And I think what people were saying and what a lot of people are saying, we want more scenarios where you sort of emulate that hype. I don't necessarily think this does. This sort of removes from the hype of the one game mattering. It's still a game that really matters, so it's still going to be exciting. I'm sure this will still be exciting, but It's not. It's definitely not the same. It's definitely not the same.
But the concern that you bring up about teams not playing anymore is valid. Number one, we have to make sure that teams can't play anymore, and I hope that we're on top of that, right? Because imagine the situation where it's like, oh, they just won the last Savage Stretch, they won the last game, and now they're playing again.
Yeah.
But ignore the fact that
Oh no,
will
it
not
says
happen.
that. It literally says that.
Wait,
it literally
what?
says that.
What?
Once the team gets a victory royale, they will move on to finals and will be removed from the next set of matches of the reboot round.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're removed. So, like, it's not talking about like stacked or anything like this, but the MO for reboot rounds is still going to be let's fish, let's go for heal off, let's get as many heals as we can and try to heal off. It's still going to be that. So imagine now Lazy Lake was the spot that the guys won from. Okay, all of a sudden Lazy Lake's empty. All these teams all thinking, yes, I can get a lot of fish. Yes, from Lazy Lake, great. And all of a sudden there's 6 teams dropping Lazy Lake in the next game. That'd be cool, but also so strange when you think about it. Here's the other reason I'm not hype about this is that one game, yeah, sure, you're proving that you can win. I'm not sure how that actually proves that you can do well in grand finals. Potentially, it's just kind of like a saving grace, right? Here, these guys are not going to be playing grand finals type games. Sure, they might be as stacked, but they're no kill incentive other than trying to find refreshes and trying to find fish or heals or whatever, or taking height, some valuable aspect towards winning the game. And they're just like, they're not going to be the same. These teams that come through potentially are not going to be the guys who will do well in grand finals at all. And I think it's like somewhat irrelevant to the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, what's that thing called when you're sleeping and you start thinking about stuff and it's just kind of surreal? What's the word for that? Like dream?
Lucid dreaming?
Like dream, right? And then what's the thing you do like when you're in the computer? You're in a computer and you're trying to get into a system you're not supposed to be in.
Hacking.
So the Dreamhack effect, I feel like is going to be under place. I just feel like we're going to get Dreamhack, man, where it's like
what
August is lit. Let me explain.
Go ahead.
August is lit. The first game is wow. We're in the business. You know what I mean? Like cast out. Oh my! I can't believe that just happened. And then there's another game, and you're like, oh, it's Dreamhack October now. There's it's about to happen another time. Okay. And then suddenly we're in Dreamhack December. Like, okay, Bart, like say the line again. You know what I mean? Like let's get super hyped for the next team that's qualing. And then situations that you're talking about, right? Like this random team is rolling in off of fish heal offs. I'm just also kind of like worried where it's like, man, the coolest things happen. Like I'm remembering names and plays if I see them again happen in the future. I'm blanking out on them right now, but Jeffers popping off against one other person who deserved to be there in West. That's the only game to look at and digest. Zayd Savage Stretch popping off, only game to look at and digest, right? Like they absolutely slammed. Imagine 4 more games around that. Imagine the EU game, the 8-time height retake, all the way towards the very end where you need a last second siphon. But now you have, 40 more minutes of footage to go through for the reboot round of similar type stories. Like, I'm not saying it takes away completely, but man, people are going to be exhausted on the same fact as well that there's going to be 9 games minimum happening on broadcast. And now there's going to be 7 times 3, 21 games across the whole world minimum. 22 right now minimum, because one team in the EU is disbanding. That you're going to have to keep track and digest these epic moments, so to speak. Like, that's a big plate, man, and not everyone has my stomach. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna get crazy, dude. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's one of those things where, once again, I think as long as we're sort of experimenting from FNCS to FNCS, right? This could look completely different next FNCS, and the one after that could look different as well. This is already looking like it's going to look very different from the FNCS we've just seen. So I guess there's hopes there that if it doesn't work out, things will change. What I did want to get onto, right, before I was reminded we need to discuss Reboot Round, was if you scroll down to the bottom, Robbie, they've given us more information about the All-Star showdown thingy magic.
Hold up a sec.
I'm
Scoring
an awful
level.
host.
Scoring,
I'm an
bro.
awful host, clearly, man.
Scoring, man. They changed the score,
Nobody
man.
cares, Shyo. Like,
What do you mean? That was one of the
players-
biggest things about last season.
Oh, nobody cares. It's just a format, it's point format. I don't care, man.
What?
Top heavy or not, like, bro, it was such a boring discussion point. Like, okay, fine, it's different. It's less of this thresholdy crap where you get towards top 3 and you're like, oh, it's still night zone. Oh, we're not getting all the points. Yeah, okay, cool. It's fixed. Let's move on.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to touch on it, man. I'm not trying to hug it, cuddle with it. I just wanted to touch it for a sec. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
yeah. Cool.
To be fair,
on
the topical format, the one thing is they've made it less top heavy, which will mean that, players who rely on sort of being able to swing their tournament with massive games like No Riley, Reason Video, those kind of guys, they're going to be less able to do that in the sense of there's going to be more points available to people. Like, more people are going to have way more points because it's less top heavy in that sense. So
yeah, this format is better.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that the format was bad. This format is better. It's less top heavy. They fixed what we were talking about. Like 100%.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah,
cool.
It's reverse 2K season. Sick. Let's roll.
Okay.
Let's keep rolling.
Let's roll. They've
Let's roll.
given us more info on the FNCS All-Star Showdown. They've essentially said it's going to be a solo competition. We didn't know that right before. That's new information.
Yeah, we
it's
did.
going to be.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we did.
Okay. It was going to be a solo competition. 15 from last FNCS, 15 from this, in terms of 15 teams. And that's going to, mean that we're going to have 90 players in the lobby. 3 million prize pool for all regions, though. So we don't know how much is going to go to who. I'm assuming it'll be a similar sort of ratio to what we have for FNCS. React.
Wow, I'm excited. Let's go. Yeah, there you go.
Shall I give you my thoughts though? Because I actually did read through this,
go for
and it's a bit of a reach. It's a bit of a stretch to some degree, but I want to know what you guys think. The way they've set this up, right, where you have certain teams from one FNCS, certain teams from another. This is middle of the year competition. Next year, coronavirus gone. Slot in World Cup right here, right?
No.
You make FNCSs a qualifier for World Cup. Make FNCSs a qualifier for World
This
Cup.
guy's not stretching. He's like reaching across like
You
ponds,
qualify for
lakes,
World Cup
bro.
through FNCSs.
Ocean take, bro.
There you go.
Laffy Taffy take. Stretch that shit across the planet. What are you talking? What is you
Tell
talking about?
Tell me why, Shyo.
You is
Tell
bugging.
me why, Shyo. Tell me why I'm bugging then.
Because, man, for the World Cup happens after you it should happen after everything, not in the middle of everything. In the middle of everything is like a mid-season thing, like an all-star thing, like a showdown thing.
Okay, well,
then the World Cup
stretch Levin's take to be the end of season showdown instead.
That's fine. I'm with it. Like if
what are you guys? Are you guys serious right now?
You're not even
Like,
against
what
what
the-
I'm saying.
What?
You're not even Shyo, you're not even against me. You're just saying it
No, you
should be
said-
in mid-year. You're saying it should just be end of year. My point is that
yeah, that's
That's
what I'm
what
saying.
I was thinking. Yeah, 100%. I'm the anti-11 2K take.
yeah,
because, bro,
Shabala's the one that's against me. You're on my side still.
I'm on your side, but you were saying that this should happen in the middle of the year with 15 teams from 2
I don't care.
FNCSs.
Shut up. Bro, it's fine. Look,
Okay.
here's the reason this doesn't work. You're qualifying people from trios into solos. Yes, I'm excited for the All-Star Showdown, but this is not the best solo players. This is not the best
No,
solo
but I'm
players.
saying,
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
What the hell is going on,
Bala. Assuming we're to get a World Cup, based on the fact that the main game mode is trios, I'm assuming the next World Cup will be solos and trios. That's just an assumption I have, right? So I'm saying for the World Cup trios, this is how you'd qualify teams. Each FNCS throughout the year is important. The top, since you're doing 4 instead of 2, because you're moving it to the end of the year, like Shyo said, what it would be, the top 5 teams from each FNCS qualify for World Cup trios at the end of the year. What do you think?
Okay, so now that we have the idea on paper,
No!
why no? Why no?
Because, man, next World Cup, if it doesn't have regional lands, it's a flop, bro. If it doesn't have regional land finals, it's a flop. I don't care. If it doesn't have that one thing, it is 100% a flop, and I think everybody's thinking that. Because
so Bala, what if you had those teams from FNCS.
And it needs to be a full rebrand
yeah.
from FNCS.
No,
it needs
no,
to be
no.
a full rebrand from
base
All-Star.
take incoming.
When
Base
we ever
take,
get
base
full
take.
rebrand though? Like we don't get full rebrand.
Base take incoming. Base take incoming. You can either have the World Cup or the FNCS. You can't have both.
What?
Agreed.
What? What do you mean we can't have both?
You can either set up the whole year to account all the way up to a World Cup, and you have these regional lands that happen over and over again.
Also,
what
the fuck is this anyways, guys? This is regional. Like, this is regional.
But that's what I'm saying. You could turn this into a non-regional thing.
No, you can't.
You can with 2 FNCSs, man. It has to be
That's
more.
what I'm saying, though, so you'd need it out.
This will be the regional final. This will be what this is. This will be the regional final for qualifying for the actual thing. That's the only way that
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So would you be fine with that? Would that be cool? That would be cool. And the reason I'm suggesting that, the only reason I'm suggesting that is because this is why I'm mentioning this stuff. Because the way we've had it historically previously, it's a changing a bit now with the way they're doing things, but there's no continuity with throughout the year. Like your results, what you do in January of Fortnite competitive never matters by November. So this would affect that, where if FNC, cool, let's say we rebrand it, but if you had 4 sort of major competitions, then they lead into regional lands like Bala wants, right? Which I also want, to be fair, so I don't know what I'm saying like that. But you lead into regional lands, then that's what gets people to World Cup. Like it's a whole year-long thing that leads up to the massive event that World Cup is.
My thing is that, like, you essentially have to double up on events. Like, you already have a regional land quality roster in the FNCS Grand Final. They play, and now you have to set up for another regional land that you have to, roll into. And like, I think there should be more than one regional land to qualify people towards the World Cup. That'd be sick. But I think the space would just have to operate for one. If all of this amalgamates into a regional land, and then from there we go to a World Cup, that's dope. But then you have to think about, when do these lands happen? You can't have the NA1 overlap on the same day as the EU1 and roll like that. Like, logistically, it just seems like a nightmare. But from what you're saying, if it works out, it'd be sick. Like, I'm on your side with that. At the same time, I just don't think if a World Cup is in effect, so to speak, right? Like, if a World Cup is happening that year, I don't see why FNCS would ever be relevant. Like, no one would want to care about what's happening for FNCS throughout the year.
Structured to World Cup.
Yeah. Because okay, so if that's your point as well, then they might be forced to do that, right? Because assuming we start getting World Cups again, do they just scrap FNCS? Do you get rid of FNCS? I'm assuming.
No, we can't, man.
That's what I'm saying. So then you'd end up in a situation where we have World Cup in a year, but we also have it surrounded by FNCSs. People wouldn't care about World Cup. I mean, about FNCS.
No, yeah, I think that's a solid. I think with refinement, the idea is good.
Okay,
I'll play my own devil's advocate here, since none of you brought up a point that I wanted to fight back against. Well, so at least here. Well, Levin, that doesn't make any sense. Well, because the beauty of World Cup was, everybody had a chance to, it sort of it brought back the likes of the T-Fuse and all those kind of people. They come back for World Cup. They couldn't do that because they'd have to commit to Fortnite for the whole year, and they're not going to do that. Their attention span doesn't last that long, Levin.
You countered your point in the middle of the point.
Levin, that does make sense. Levin, I see what you're saying. That I guess you're sort of looking at the nostalgic vibes that you used to get from World Cup. It did seem like a seasonal type of thing, but that's small-minded, Levin. We should be thinking bigger picture. That's what's going to make this game, the better esport that you're always talking about, Levin. So I think that's a good point. If you ask me.
Flip to the other Levin. Go ahead. Flip to the other Levin.
Yeah, for one, I don't really like your tone. So, do me a favor, watch your tone. But what I will say is that, it doesn't have anything to do with that, right? If you can still have FNCSs and other things be, big events throughout the year that are meaningful, and maybe you have it so that they add some sort of weight to certain players when qualifying for World Cup. But, I still think World Cup should be this open thing that starts off with nobody to some degree, and you build up to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So essentially, we're talking about okay. You were about to talk. You were literally lost in talking to yourself right now. You just completely forgot there was other 2 people. Jesus.
That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, you can have your own podcast about that. The point you're trying to say is like, oh well, anybody can qualify for the World Cup. That was the beauty of it, right?
That's
like,
just the point that some people I would guess would have.
Yeah, and I agree that is probably a point that Epic will have as well, because that was a big talking point that we had all throughout World Cup, especially through qualifiers. Was like anybody can win, anybody can do it, which makes sense, right? That's how they are trying to get people to play the qualifiers, and just be hooked on playing comp Fortnite in general. So here's the thing that I always was thinking about when this was the case is that anybody can win an FNCS too.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can do that. Sure, when you have format stuff in place where it's like the best are getting like these consistency points and whatever, it's like, yeah. But no matter what format you have, no matter how hard you're going to incentivize people by, oh, anybody can win, no matter how hard you try to make it with a sword, no matter what, there's still going to be the players who are going to take that advantage and go crazy with it. And that doesn't mean that little Timmy is going to get a chance to win. While that illusion can be made for literally anything in my mind, I think it can be made for anything. I don't see how the FNCS format is stopping that. And I definitely think that having that open, volatile qualifying structure that the World Cup had, that people apparently still kind of want, is detrimental to the actual quality of the World Cup itself, or any tournament that has that idea.
Yeah,
very detrimental. Just in the sheer fact that people qualify who have no business being there.
What's this guy got?
Here's this is the controller of facts and history.
Yes.
All right.
Legendary.
Just to add on to this conversation, right? You're talking about back in the old days. You want the Tfue to roll, and you want this person rolling, that person rolling. So back in the old days, everything, it's kind of like the Big Bang was still combined. The gases were still flowing, so to speak, right? Content, creative, sweats, casuals, streaming, playing competitive, and those World Cup quals were, in harmony, so to speak, all in the same space. But then everything changed when the need for competitive drive hacked, right? Boom. Now Season X, there's more of a focus on comp. There's loot pools are getting split. There's the dedicated version of here's a streamer, here's a content creator, and here's like, a competitive player. The people are going in their lanes, right? And everyone wanted this. Everyone wanted, comp players in their own lane. They wanted casual to be in their own space. If you want that, sorry to say this, World Cup is a competitive thing, and it will stay in the competitive lane. That's the take I have in terms of like, if you're qualifying for it, if you want to make it better, it has to be made better through the comp lane. Now, there's definitely ways to attach the casual lane, the streamer lane into World Cup. But to say that, it's is there a chance to get Timmy? Is there a chance to, get this content creator to go and maybe qual? For sure there is, but now, comp has widened that lane. That lane has blockages and potholes that people have been driving through 24/7 and know where they are. If you somehow can flip up and get past all of that in qual, that's great. There should be a system to allow that. Not going to be likely. And then to add on to everything else at the end as well, I had this dope thing to say. I completely forgot it. Yeah, it's just that's kind of like the basic idea that I have.
I was about to praise you, bro. Like, yeah, I was about to praise you.
That's such a good wrap up.
Yeah, how long?
You gotta work on that, buddy.
Yeah. Well, look, I regardless of the ending, wise words, right, from a wise man. I like the way you sort of, fizz that in. I'd like to phase us into a new topic, though, right? Phase us into one of the final topics, and that is the FaZe Elite Cup. And, that's coming up rather shortly. Considering how long I don't know how long these podcasts are supposed to be honest.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. I thought we had a time restriction. Yeah. Why did we start earlier then? Was there not a time restriction or something? Or?
Oh, yeah. Does somebody have to go? Robbie, do you have to go?
Yeah, like, that's what I was
No, I'm just wondering if you have to go.
Do you need to go?
Yeah,
you need to go.
Why did we start this whole podcast like 2 hours earlier?
Because who cares? Oh, okay, well, it doesn't matter. Let's go. Let's face
anyway,
it.
regardless there, Elite Cup. Last week, Barla, you said you wanted to do this, and I think Shyo, you've been able to rope this in. We're going to do a tier list of the teams who we know will be competing in the Elite Cup. These obviously, for the majority, NA trios. I think there's rumblings that Mongrel might compete since he's a part of FaZe and this, that, and the other. We don't know yet, so we're not going to include the likes of Mongrel and Funk Bomb. Oh, I think actually Funk Bomb might be on there. Regardless, though, we're gonna see. We're gonna see where Bala, Shyo, and I would rank some of these teams. You can see we've gotten a bit creative with some of the imagery used in this tier list. As you can see, Acorn there in the top left of the images. I guess you know that is Acorn. We also have Dunder Mifflin, which I guess represents paper because it's a paper company. Calculator there.
Think outside the box.
You know, this is great, honestly. I like these, but who wants to take the lead on this? Who wants to go first and really stamp down a position on the tier list?
Can we look at the teams actually first?
No, unfortunately, not yet.
Okay,
but we can verbally call out. So first trio: Macwood, Bucky, Kanata, looking kind of nice. Scented, Edgy, Commandment is another one. We got Acorn, Slacks, and Jack. Ron, Blake, and Okus. Avery, Staff, Stretch.
So to be very clear, before this starts getting clipped and everything, this is a FaZe Elite Cup tier list. This isn't like global rankings or rankings for FNTASIA or anything. Like, these teams might not even be together, but this is what we have for FaZe Elite Cup. So it's a preview of that. All right, I think S tier, Acorn, Jack, and Slacks instantly.
The first one up.
The first one up.
That's Acorn. So this is Acorn, this is Slack, and this is Jack. Slacks and Jack. Jesus.
This is Slack and Jack.
Slack and Jack.
Yeah, these guys won FNCS. Like, they have the consistency. Yeah, all the way up the top. S tier for sure. Put them up there. Put them up there.
Sheesh, look at that flick precision. That's crazy.
No, you're good. We haven't gone anywhere else. Who's Blake Griffin? Oh, Blake, obviously.
Yeah,
okay,
so Blake Griffin's trio is Blake, Okus, and Ron.
Are we just going order? We'll order and then we'll start fiddling around.
And then we'll start flipping them around. Yeah, now that we know who's where. But Blake's trio rolling in, I'm honestly thinking about, and I've had an omission so far in terms of how things have looked past when they landed Coral Castle. I'm putting them rolling in somewhere between B and C tier for the tournament. I'm not sure where they're dropping this one, but they had troubles last time I saw Ron and Blake play off spawn when they were contested. If you guys want to edit where that goes, go ahead.
Didn't like Ozzy make a drop spot map for NAEs recently? That'd be cool to look at as well.
He did make a drop spot map that would probably play a big part into some of these, because actually I think as much as this isn't the topic, it's been an interesting thing for me on the EU side of things to see the transition where for now we actually have better practice than NA in EU, right? We have a lot more sort of tournaments running, we have a lot more going on where top players can sort of compete with each other. NA practice seems to be in
like, EU has better practice for one time.
We do
every time.
Every one time, bro. Okay, relax. Cool. Okay, cool.
but
what's his relevancy?
The relevancy is that right now with a lot of these teams, we might not actually have the best idea of who goes where with the new season, because there's just not been someone like Clicks, for example, and Booga, they've not really been playing much Fortnite, right? Obviously, like, you'd rank them high on the tier list still, regardless. But it's an interesting point to note that I saw a clip on Booga's Instagram. He's talking about, Valorant. I might try Valorant professionally if Fortnite. I'm thinking, hold on a minute, you've got an FNCS coming up, big man. You need to take it easy. So it's just something to note. But
I definitely think that this map compared to EU maps are probably less accurate than, because okay, cool, all right, cool. For the first time ever, congratulations EU. You have better practice. You have better practice for the first time ever, and it's only because Zayt has taken a break.
Just do me a favor.
So apparently Ron, Blake, and Okus will be landing against 3 teams in Pleasant Park, plus a bunch nearby. You already know Kanata, Macwood, and Bucky are going to be pushing that.
Dude, I don't even have these teams on the
C tiers. Yeah, I know. This is just a random, okay? And there is open quals, so if the teams are not invited, they actually have a chance to go through and whatnot. So if they get uncontested, maybe there's an opportunity, but I don't see that happening. So, and I assume that they'll probably switch eventually, anyways. So C tier, I think, is good for them.
All right, I'm doing this on my own as well, so I can keep track. Booga, Clicks, Bizzle.
I think based off last season,
at the very least A tier, if not S tier.
Based off of last season, I still think you put them in S tier.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Is it simply based off of last season?
Ooh,
Are they having any trouble at Pleasant or not? Where did it go? Where's my
Sweaty.
spot? No, nothing. Sweaty. Sorry, yeah, Sweaty.
Yeah,
No, nothing. Yeah, S tier.
they should
S
be
tier I'm
fine.
fine with. This is a team that's stuck together. There's no changes, nothing like that. So this is good.
Yeah,
All right, cool. Where is Calc? Calc, Narwhal, and Zlem.
What?
this is a newer trio as far as I'm concerned. Calc sort of going through a transition in like his Fortnite career. I feel like he's sort of like
sure.
he is sort of, you know, from speaking to him as well, I think he was having problems like in terms of playing the game, and I think from what I know, he like sort of takes more joy now, I guess, like in maybe not playing with like the best people possible, like helping develop players and help them to improve. And I think this is another case of that, right? Even seeing him play with Sebi last season, it definitely felt like he wanted to get someone who's a very talented person who doesn't necessarily have the best, you know, IQ in the game or results and want to boost that. Obviously, they got to reboot round. They sort of, you know, failed there, I guess, because they didn't win. Like anyone who doesn't win fails in the reboot round. I don't know where to put this trio though.
B. Are you seeing their drop is south of what's it called? Slurpee. Like near Pleasant Park Hill.
Yeah, then like Flush,
like,
right?
Yeah,
Flush,
Flush,
you,
yeah.
you can get a lot of gears there, I guess. It's
I said
guess
B, man.
B for now, yeah, I guess B. That's
If they were contested, I put it lower. That's the only reason I'm putting it above Ron Blake is because they're
aren't they in
uncontested.
between like a bunch of teams, like Jack Acorn Slacks, and
they're in between, but they get to have a loadout and they get to move like after spawn. You know
a
what I mean?
loadout that is what filled with potentially makeshift stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as landing in the same POI with 3 people and having to fight.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I want to keep him maybe B for now. I want to push him even lower, but that's just me. And I know Calc's gonna get hella mad, but I don't care. This is he's okay. Anyways, let's move on.
No, Rocket C tier. Rocket in a C tier.
I think higher than the Blake team though.
Yeah. So to the left.
I think to me, they're still, as a trio at least, they're still an unknown quantity. And seeing like the way Calc is sort of progressing throughout his career, like it does seem like it's moving towards.
And I always feel like in third party tournaments like this, Calc is less drive. Like he's always focused on something else when it comes to these, compared to FNCS's where he's focused on qualifying and keeping that streak going, which is not a thing anymore. But
yeah, he's trying to get Radiant with Zexro, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's move on. Scented, edgy, commandments.
S in the place up, man. Put them in S.
Yeah, when it comes to third-party tournaments too, these guys are always Chibole Cups, Ninja Battles, whatever the frick ever is played. Like these guys are always trying really. Yeah, and in the last Elite Cup too, it was the same thing. These guys are stuck together for so long that beginning of seasons they should have no woes. They should be one of the top trios. They should be performing in honestly a top 3 performance in the Elite Cup. I put them higher than I would put Booga and Clicks.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Acorn and Jack and them yet, but probably pretty close to even for me on those two trios.
Those two, I sort of see them in like the same-ish. I don't know. Actually, I might personally put Scented higher. I don't know.
Yeah, I lean in that direction too, but that's just because I mean
it's a tier list. It's a tier list for this cup, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, Scented should be the one coming in most probably at the top. Like first, I'm surprised if anyone even takes.
Is there any like extenuating circumstances where like Edgy's back west or anything like that? Anything like that?
I swear they were moving back west or something, weren't they?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking about.
I don't know.
I think even still, like they're demons in third parties, even on West on these tournaments. Okay. So, next up is Chap, and he's playing with
no pixel RPM, mate. That's what he is. He's a no pixel RPNer.
Does he-
That's all he
Oh,
said.
okay.
I thought you said
okay.
Pixel RMP. I was like, what the hell are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
no, no.
I'm pretty sure this is a role-playing reference. Yeah, my man's been
Yeah,
playing.
chat threats class, and yeah, there's
He's also in the
yeah.
Valorant wave right now. Like,
Yeah, he's
and they're landing Camp Cod. The last time we saw them landing in
Camp Cod's
places
not bad. It's got the RPG
with the weather station
potential.
split.
Yeah. Oh, with the weather station split.
Yeah.
Oh,
weather
that's
station
also
Camp Cod.
true. Commandment Sense and Edgy are going for the caddy corner, right?
Oh, they're moving to
Yeah,
Caddy?
Commandments and Energy most recently seen at Caddy, yes.
Yeah, and they've been talking about it a lot on stream and stuff like that. Like, it's really good. It's really, really good. Now I keep them up at top of the top, like chances for first. I think that the fact that both these teams, Chap and them, are in here devalues Chap a little bit. I don't really see them getting Weather Station, like, realistically. They shouldn't, unless there's some sort of, you know, because that is an imbalanced straight up against the team that lands Caddy Corner. Caddy Corner wants that too, and the weather station is kind of somewhere where they will eventually push to no matter what, right? Depending on zones and stuff like that, because they just have so much gold potential and also the next zone prediction thing. So yeah, I devalue Chap because of Scented Edge and Commandment.
I just devalue them straight up because of Camp Cod. I don't care about the RPG. I still think it's an awful spot. So
they're also C tier or D tier?
D tier.
D tier. All right, roll it in. First D tier rolling in on the day. Sheesh. All right, let's keep it going. We got Co1azo, fan favorite, rolling through with Mikey and Scrubs, the Vibes team, the good vibes.
Yeah, I don't see super high potential for this team either. Co1azo has been playing with Deroller for a while now, and they really haven't had any serious significant results outside of like some opens and stuff. And whenever they have Surge, I always feel like there's struggles no matter what. And I think that's going to be this tournament. I put them low C tier. That's my, unless you guys have a different
Misty
take.
as well. They'd like to choose Misty to rock with as well, which I feel like is harder to fight out of than Pleasant and to move out of compared to the teams around it.
Yeah.
So I put them below Ron's.
It is always, it is, sure, they might have, like, it might be on Misty right now, but it is always a search for these guys. Like, I remember season 4, they were on Stark Island, like, doing some random shit for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we got, if everyone's agreeing for chilling, Dubs. I'm trying to find who he's playing with. Probably Mega.
Illest. Dubs Mega Illest.
do you know where they're landing?
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently Co1azo's landing Steamy now. I know that's a screw fest right now. So yeah, Dubs Mega Illest. I don't know where they're landing. Maybe Lazy?
It says over here
Salty
Towers
or whatever it's called this time.
I mean, it is the FaZe Cup.
What, you think they're gonna rig it like they did for Sway?
You know, where do they roll?
I'd put these guys in B. It's weird because these guys as well are the kind of especially to do with like Dubs and Mega. It does feel like the light is starting to dim, but it's sort of dimmed since like World Cup times, right? Like it feels like, you know, just progressively Dubs isn't the force he once was, right? Where like, you know, there was a time when you'd always consider Dubs, you know, sort of a S tier player or whatnot. Like it's, you know, the tides are turning, and I don't think they're at CUD yet. It's definitely a downhill progression, but I'd put them in B personally.
I would agree.
B, yeah.
Any arguments for A?
I think it'd be
or
no, definitely not.
Okay.
I think this is probably low B. If it was,
I put a middle B.
Me. Yeah, I don't know.
Middle
I just
B?
feel like they just haven't had that spark. I have seen nothing that has shown to me that Dubs Mega that these guys are coming out of that dark tunnel. So yeah, we'll leave him B for now. I definitely don't have any arguments for them to go up. If anything, there's just down. So
all right, sick. You get there, 11.
My green screen light, like my lighting, just it just fell over and knocked my flipping webcam. I'm good.
Next up we have All That featuring Reet and Wavy Jacob. Where's the young boy Faxity reaching here?
Oh,
with the God Push squad.
Okay, S
Yeah,
tier.
Faxity,
No, I'm
Reet
just
Wavy.
kidding. Okay, Reet Wavy. It's definitely, bro. Dude, no
A force
matter
to be
what, these
reckoned
guys
with.
are always going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I love when Wavy Jacob plays with Reed. Even on NAE, these guys will do well.
And their vibes are like high.
They're
sus
high.
with Faxity in the business
I think
too. So
I think it's like a high B. I think there's a potential for A here. I think
I'll
there's
say low
potential
A, bro.
for honestly high A.
High A.
Yeah, I like the combination of Reed and Wavy Jacob. Maybe Faxity kind of like keeps
You don't know what the vibes do, man.
I know,
for
but
a team.
I know, but that's also like Wavy Jacob,
and he can win his ones. He can win his ones, man.
He could win his ones.
I'm telling you.
I like that.
I'm putting that's an A. That's an A, bottom to middle at best. High might be a reach.
Dude, I feel so bad just seeing Chap down in D all by himself. We gotta add some people in, bro. Sheesh.
All right, we got Funk here with.
There's
I don't
ping
even know
issue
if the
too,
dude's
by the
playing,
way,
man.
for Faxity and them, obviously. But I have never had that. I have never watched a third-party tournament with Reet and Wavy Jacob where ping has been an issue for them.
Who said ping's an issue?
I just brought it up.
Oh, I thought somebody was saying. I thought someone like in chat said ping's an issue because ping's not an issue.
People in chat are saying ping is an issue, but
Ping's not an issue. Ping's not an issue for Reet.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what, I'm not saying it to you, man. Can't you? We're on the same team. Flipping, we're on the same team here,
sometimes, bro. Jesus Christ.
We're on the same team, Marla. Don't worry. But
all right,
yeah,
cool.
I'd agree. I think that's A.
All right, I don't know where Funk Bomb or who he's playing with. He's not even on this list, man. So I'm just putting him in D. Shout out to company.
Show some respect to Funk and Nate, bro. They're demons.
They're not playing with Funk. He's not playing with Nate.
They're not playing with Nate.
Bro,
he's not playing with Nate. So
I think we took off. I think what the thing is here, we took off Nate rather
took
than
off some
Funk.
teams. We took off some teams because they're not announced yet.
Oh,
Nate Cypher, Nick Merckx, and they're not in the S. Are you guys foolish?
This guy might be the dumbest person I've ever seen in my entire life.
Are you even
There's no
listening,
shot.
Levin?
Levin.
Are you even listening?
Levin, bro. Take your hat off. Put your hat up. It's on your ears.
Hold on. What did Shyo just say? What did he just say?
What did I miss?
Levin.
I didn't hear him.
I said we're not talking about some teams and we omitted them because we're not announced and we can't
Monster
talk
just
about
said it
them.
in chat.
Oh,
That's why I read it from chat.
Even better. Okay.
Oh my god! All right.
Yeah, Monster, man.
All right.
Monster leaking, man. Oh man. Monster, come on, mate. D-face, come on. What we doing here, son?
It's your own tournament, bro. It's your own tournament.
Yeah, man. What we doing here? Oh, bloody hell.
Okay, so what I was saying was I think we took off Funk, or we put on Funk instead of Nate. That's what I was thinking, but of course,
No, the whole list I had.
So where's
Funk was in the
Funk's
business.
team?
Who's Funk's team, Monster? Just
Yeah, Monster.
we're in the business now, bro. Monster.
He's told us, mate. He's told us the team.
No, but Funk's not even on that team,
Is he
bro.
not? Wait, what's going on?
No.
Cypher.
We play squads.
Oh my god. Funk is playing with somebody says Funk 72 hard.
Muzz and Looter.
No, shot.
What's going on?
Sorry, what?
What's going on?
All right, just keeping that shit in D tier. Let's keep it going.
No, but okay. Wait, quickly though, before that could get clipped out of context. Those Muzz and Looter are world-class players, but they're
100%, 100%.
Yeah, they're OCE playing
Yeah.
on the NA, so that's why we're saying no chance.
Yeah.
But
Make sure if you're clip it before 11 gives context.
Yeah.
And only clip the
100%.
parts where 11 was disrespectful.
I wasn't
Don't put anything
disrespectful.
from
I
me
wasn't
above.
disrespectful. It was only Bala. Reddit's gonna eat that one up. Oh, but this Bala guy again.
Nah, man.
he's
still have I'm still the gospel on Reddit, apparently.
Oh,
I don't know.
I saw the Reddit streets were shitting on you, bro.
You know,
like,
but they still posted me.
No, I
They
swear
still
to God,
posted my random Twitch chat
that's true.
take.
That is true.
I was on like a sneakerhead subreddit. And it's like, yeah, Bala wore these shoes at the World Cup, so I think this is when you're supposed to buy this. All over Reddit, man. Not only even FN Comp, like that ass.
Okay.
Creo is playing with some people.
Creo, Bully, and Frist.
They're landing
Yes.
steamy, right?
They're landing steamy.
Yeah. You
I'd put them B.
BA
I'd put them B.
B or higher, lower than Dubs.
Higher.
Higher.
Higher than
Yeah,
Dubs. All right, high B. nice in the business.
What was Creo's trio last season? I feel like
Was it Creo Bucky?
no, it was Bucky, Macron, and Kanata.
I'm high. Is it Creo and someone else? Yes.
Who was? I'm so confused.
FN tracker time.
Illest and Avery. Ah, okay. He's been yoinked. I see.
Illest and Avery both got yoinked by a really good trio. Well,
Yeah,
Illest and
really.
Dubs, but Avery specifically got yoinked by a really good trio.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. B tier seems good. I feel like it should be like higher, but I feel like Bully and Frists are not the level of Creo in terms of like grand finals and stuff like that. And Steamy has just not been good in NA East. And Frist and Bully have actually been pushing Steamy for a while, like playing Steamy for a while, and it just has never really been super good in NA. Like it's been good in EU for a couple whiles, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No arguments there.
No arguments there.
Where in S do Macwood, Bucky, and Kanata go?
Where is, I like the way you set that one up because they are heading straight to it. I'd put them. I don't know. I like their style of play a lot. I'm always impressed when I watch them.
On 12 all the 12 games from Steamy. Wow. Okay. Top 10 is not okay. That's still B tier. Okay, yeah, S tier. Sorry, I got distracted. S, yeah. Yep.
Well, yeah, put him in S and put him ahead of Booga. Like when it comes to these third-party events, I feel like they end up placing higher. No.
Okay, I think this revolves around how good Craggy is this season.
Oh, baller! You right there, son? You right there, son?
Christ!
Bro, it's not my fault. It's Robbie's fault, 100%. It is. You have auto gain
Discord,
on
man.
What do you want me to do,
Discord,
bro?
man?
You're trying to hurt us. Yo, something like an aeroplane. Like, that was so loud.
I thought seven people joined the call, man. Oh my god.
Gosh,
Yeah, see, my gain spiked up. That's the.
it's on Discord. We can hear it.
Hmm.
Yeah, holla. He tried to pin it on Robbie. Guys, chat, you see that? Chat, did you see that he tried to pin it on Robbie straight away?
Automatic gain control off. I don't know what you guys want from me.
Try turning it on and off.
No, I'm not doing that. It's going to cause that issue again.
That's a shy classic. Turn it on and off.
It works, man.
Okay. So yeah, cool. Oh yeah. I was gonna go on my point. Am I good? Can I talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Start.
Okay. All right. I think this revolves around how good Craggy versus Sweaty is this season. Sweaty's obviously always going to be good no matter what. Craggy was really good last season. Like really good. Is it as good this season? I don't know what the is there an NPC there? Is it
Craggy got buffed, I'm pretty sure.
It got buffed?
Yeah.
All right, then there you go.
All right.
Yeah, I think put him above Booga and then no, not Paper. I think we're taking Macwood and moving him above Booga.
A bug.
Moving him a bug.
Moving him a bugger. Okay. Dunder Mifflin right here. We got Paper and Company, a Joji and Jamper, the God Trio.
Are they Dirty Docs?
I think they're contested, no?
I think they're
Against Miro, Reverse, and Day if they're in this tournament, which I think they are.
Yeah, they are. Both of them right next to each other. We get to rank them at the same time.
Nice. So let's put both of them in A tier. Thoughts?
I definitely want Reverse 2K high A tier.
Okay.
I think they're better than Jamper and them.
Jamper has some nutty clutches, man.
I know. He's good. They're both good. I think both A tier is solid.
And then Faxity in the middle. Robbie, come on, man.
There
we go. Yeah.
Dude, I feel like, yeah, I think that trio of Reet and them have pop-off potential. I think they could get like a top 5. But it's gonna be random. If it is, it's gonna be like them popping off in 1 or 2 games and then like really playing endgame well.
Yeah.
I just can't predict which one is gonna happen because I feel like if these two teams reverse 2K in them against Joji and Pamper. you should have.
You can actually just say Joji Pamper and leave it at that because that's just a combination, right?
Yeah, true. Actually.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm a
Shyo
Joji
Classic.
fan. Shout out Joji.
I'm a fan. Here's my thing. If they contest each other and they're fighting like they're trying to win a spot for FNCS, then I think their stocks go way down, like less than Foxity on them.
But if it's a normal dirty situation, you've seen multiple trios drop here and then be able to play the game out and both hit top 5.
Yes.
So I don't see I think this is respects.
Tried on EU with Thomas lurking about.
It's happened in EU.
Actually, it's
for
happened on
games
NAE
FNCS.
with
Yeah,
Thomas
for
and
a
them
redirect.
against reversing them.
what often happens is like and what will probably happen is like one of them will just like disengage towards like the grotto area. That seems to happen quite a lot.
I feel like this will be a situation where teams are griefing their spot. For
I feel like there will
FNCS.
be.
So I want to derank them.
You want to derank them? So what? They go down to B top tier?
I think they're either under Foxity or they go B top tier. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
They've been under Foxity for me.
Okay, well then
I think they go B top tier if we're saying that Creo's team as well as like B tier.
Robbie's not following.
That's how I
us.
see it.
Look at his mouse.
Go to Michael Scott and pull Michael Scott on the top of B tier. Get Dunder Mifflin.
He said Michael Scott. Who's that? Uncultured.
Yeah, and put him at the top of B tier.
The spreader.
There we go.
You gotta change
You
Creo
swapped-
back
you swapped-
again.
you just moved Creo. You
swap
moved Creo.
You just
Move
move Creo
reverse
with
2K
Dubs.
and them too.
Oh my god! No, we're chilling.
Wait,
Reverse
we're
2K is
leaving
fine.
them up. I thought my point was about them contesting each other.
I'm not gonna let you do that. Then I'd rather you put them both in A below Foxity than put Joji in B. What? Bring
Okay,
But
okay,
that's
put
what
them
I'm
both in B.
saying.
Put
Like,
them both in
it's
B.
either
Alright.
both of them are getting deranked or yeah, move Foxy. Robbie, the blue F, move him up above the reverse 2K smiling face. I have to give you very clear instructions. Perfect. And then we're moving Dunder Mifflin back up next to reverse 2K smiling face.
The fact that like nobody can actually hear
Nope,
Robbie
to the right.
is
To the right.
like-
Move it. Yeah, yep, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Nice. Now we got a picture of a river San, and Who Fishy.
I
who
thought that was
also
somebody's
might
gun.
be inside rivers.
Yeah,
That was
I thought that was
somebody's
somebody's gun. I was thinking, is he playing? Like, I honestly did think it was somebody's gun when I saw that picture. I'll be honest.
Okay, so this is Riverson?
This is River San and Who Fishy. That's 2 fish in 1 stone.
Uh-huh.
And Kaz, which is another word for a riverbed. So all of them
Wow.
inside a river.
That's like a DreamHack factoid right there. Kaz is another word for
That's not a true fact. I completely made that up, but it sounds cool.
All right.
Still,
Where are they landing? We don't have it. Oh no, Pleasant against Ronaldo and them.
yeah. But I feel like these guys are more invested in the business. They've been following the market. They play the game.
My Riversun stocks are low since the high stocks of season 4 at Lazy Lake with was it Dubs and Mega? No, it was Illest and Furious. That was who it was.
Yeah.
Kaz and Who Fishy. Who Fishy's really good. Kaz is also pretty consistently good, but less so than Who Fishy. Riversun is all over the place.
Kaz's recent stuff is kind of popping in terms of highlight plays.
Like what?
Where
Oh,
they-
highlight plays.
Like I think it was either FNCS or like a tournament after the fact where he was like carrying. No, this was Zone Wars. Never mind. This was this.
Yeah, no, you can't take the Zone Wars.
He was kind of popping in those zonies though. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
he was popping in the zonies. C tier? Maybe
Where below calc, above calc.
below calc.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the fact that they're contested at Pleasant Park, it's definitely gonna be grief season there, from what I can tell so far. Yeah. Comfortable with this? Yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
No arguments.
Okay.
Where in A tier are we putting Scoped, Tragics, and Cease?
Am I putting them in A tier?
I'd put them top of B.
That's where I'm holding with.
I put
Top
them
of B?
bottom B.
I do not put them bottom B.
I'd put
Why?
them.
I put them top of
We're
B.
just like
I'd put them.
because,
mid B.
like-
let's get some context here. Let's get some opinions, not just
Okay,
some
wait,
like rankings.
because in terms of retail, I feel like they're the strongest team rolling in terms of fighting potential.
Retail is 100% going to fight.
Yeah, and I feel like these guys come up top on that fight.
Okay, that doesn't mean that they're doing well in the tournament to the
Wait,
level
why?
of the level of A tier.
But like Cease with and Scoped have shown that when they get opportunities to acquire points based off of like, you know, if they make it to 5th zone, if they get even 2 games where the zone bounces towards their side, they're popping off.
Well, I was watching something with them recently where they're just like fighting somewhere in NA, like up in the, I think it was last season, up in the top left of the map, just fighting every time. Was that a Dreamhack or something? I don't remember what it was. It was just awful.
Was Scoped playing with Cease back then?
I think so.
Or was Cease on a completely different trio?
No, I think it was duos. I think it was a duo Dreamhack that I was
It
watching.
was duo Dreamhack.
I think from playing from this retail side of the map, being in center more, and hopefully getting maybe 1 or 2 5th zones if these guys make it through, which I think they will because they win the off-spawn fight in retail, they have a top 10, top 5 performance.
Well, Shyo's top B, Bala's bottom B. So
I'm C. I'm mid C.
You're mid C.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a mid C. That's a like.
I'd put them bottom B.
The C tiers we have right now, right. The C tiers are people who are hard contested against another team of similar skill who aren't grinding the game really, or like are in new facets, or are stuck in their ways. I feel like these guys are popping still when given the opportunity.
You think that they have better fighting potential against Smack, Casker, and Niddle?
Are they playing in this tournament? Because I don't think they are.
I thought they were. Wasn't there? Yeah, Skittles. You have a sorry, that's not Skittles.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm assuming they're going up against an open qual team.
I see.
Like they're going up against an open qual team.
Okay,
that was my assumption.
Okay, my bad. My bad. Okay, I'll give it to you then.
Now, if they are playing against, then I'd 100% say C tier somewhere. They're in the same situation, but
yeah,
bottom B I think is fair. Or
bottom B,
or just before Dubs, but actually I'd prefer to say bottom B. Actually, no, I'd say put them above Bubs. I mean Dubs.
Above Dubs. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Above Dubs.
I'd say. Now we got Skittles, who's playing with Agers and Degen. Underrated trio, in my opinion.
Underrated. This is an A tier.
A tier?
Yeah.
Above Faxity.
I think above Faxity maybe.
Because these guys have consistent roles.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown that they can play these tournaments as well. And they're kind of in the business.
They've been playing together for a while now too, right? This is at least 2 seasons. Yeah, I think they are good up there. Unless I'm tripping, but
arguments? Anyone? No? This next one's going to be a take.
I feel like Degen and Agers have always like played very well at the beginning of seasons, or played badly at the beginning of seasons, and then moved on to play pretty decently and consistently. As long as there's a lot of tournaments for them to participate in, which there haven't really. So I don't know.
I know some people are saying bottom of S, and could be an argument. But for me, the bottom of S would be Sprite Game and Tahi.
I was going to say top of A, above Skittles.
I would say if you're going above Skittles, you're going into S tier.
So they're landing like the thing up in I don't know what you guys are calling that, like the junk yard, where Stark used to be, like the thing underneath Stark. Oh, they're landing Orchard area too.
Oh, no, that's Orchard.
Sorry, yeah,
Skittles, so it's London Orchard. Yeah, Orchard team, they're gonna get the slap truck, most likely as well. Like Orchard seems like is always really a good spot. I think those guys are really good, but I still would put Sprite above them in A, not in S, but in A. Shy, you're trying to say if you're anyone above them,
I'm saying
it's
bottom S, man. Yeah, if anyone is above Skittles right now, it's S, and if you want to put Gabe above them, then I think we have to put both teams in S. If you want to say they're that close.
I mean,
but then I don't know.
No, I don't put Sprite, Gabe, and Tahi in S tier yet. They did very well in heats, like so almost twice in a row. But like,
yeah.
What after that? Where did they place in FNCS?
11th. They didn't get top 10.
11th. Yeah. That's kind of like where even like the Friston guys were, and I said they weren't. Yeah, I think somewhere in A. I don't think you can put them S tier yet.
Above A then, or above Skittles and A. I'm agreeing with 11.
No, less than Skittles.
I'd put them above Percy, but either or. I don't think.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care at this point.
Sick. We got Stretch, Avery, and Saf.
How are these guys doing? Are they playing like any sort of anything yet?
That's the thing. I actually don't know how these guys are doing. This is a complete
new thing, right? Like
I think-
everybody
Below
wants
Funk?
to insta rank the mass, but have we really seen much from
That's
them
the
at
thing.
all
I think.
without
I
Zayt?
think from name value, it makes sense for them to be bottom of S. I don't like,
But
it's just-
expectations wise, it have to be D. It'd have to be D then.
no, that's still even regardless of not seeing them. There's no way they're a D team to me. Even though I know you might be joking a bit. I
It
think,
was jokes. It was jokes. It was jokes. It was jokes.
you know, lazy to me is really strong. Yes, they're an unknown quantity. I still rate them more.
Lazy?
Yeah, that's why I still
Bottom
want to put
S
them.
is because we haven't seen what they've done, how they play yet.
I say bottom S with the qualifier that because that's where they should be. They should be bottom S.
They should be, yes.
I don't know
Mhm.
how they'll do, but I don't have
No, I
an
don't
idea
wanna
of how
put
they'll
them
do. But I want to. I think I want to.
Here, I really like lazy for them. I like that better than all the trash that Stretch and Saf have been going through with the drop spots, like Doom's Domain, fucking random shit in grand finals last time to get the RPG. Like this is a much more Saf Zayt-esque drop spot. It's funny that I have to still like this. I just don't know how Zayt not being there is going to affect these guys. I just don't.
I don't think it affects them as much as I from when I watched them a bunch at the start of last season, before Zayt retired, and
They've been
after,
playing
even
so
when he came
long
back,
with them.
yeah, like Stretch as an IGL is a really, really good IGL in my eyes.
I like that actually. Yeah. True.
And I think they should be an S tier team. To me, I just don't want to put them at S yet because they're more of an unknown quantity to me. For all I know, some people in chat might know how they've been doing in scrims and whatnot. To me, they're still a bit of an unknown quantity. So I'd put them high in A. But
yeah,
I don't know why.
No, Avery's really good, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
Avery's a
Avery's better than Zayt in some aspects, almost, right?
You definitely skill wise, I'd say that's fair.
Yeah.
I would keep them bottom S.
Yeah, I'm fine with
no matter
this.
what. I don't think they go into A.
I'm fine with this.
Just based off of prestige. Yeah.
Is this XMD?
Levin's like, Tabne.
Oh,
This is
okay.
Tabne. Yeah.
Who? Haha.
Tabne, Chimp, and Teo?
Yeah.
Sorry. I have no context on this trio. I won't lie. I don't know. I know Tabne.
Up and comers, you know,
the
they
other guys I
try
don't
and
know.
I think that their recent FNCS was like their best. So somewhere in D tier.
Is that how? Okay. Like,
They got
again,
top 10. They got top 10 FNCS. I'd say give them. I'd say maybe like a low B or high C.
Okay.
You know, they're coming into it with some form, I guess. So I think it'd be fair to just write them off just because they don't necessarily have, you know, the accolades.
I mean, stacked against other teams in a trio like third party event. I haven't seen them do that well, which is why I'm saying that they come in at D.
Tabne did well
underdogs.
in the Battle of the Burrows or something like that, if I remember correctly.
The Battle of the Burrows have this level of players.
No, not even close.
I think for this event, they would be D tier.
I don't think they would. I still don't think they would. I think you're still weighting into heavily past third party events more so than what they are because as much as they're still like they're not an established trio to that sense of, you know, we know what they're capable of in past. Right now, in terms of their ability, the way they're performing suggests that they could potentially be at some point A tier trio. Obviously, they're not there yet. So I think putting them in B, C is fair.
They could have
Weeping.
Weeping uncontested when it comes down to it, because AV, Sticks, and Ice Sky are not invited.
Weeping uncontested. I think that's.
I think that's really strong, and the center of the map is really empty because of Hunter's Haven removal.
So low B.
Bottom B or top C, I think as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, that's a list.
Is that a list? So okay, we have Macwood or Scented Edgy Commandment and S, Macwood, Bucky, and Kanata. There, Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, Booga, yeah. S tier is good. A tier, Sprite, Tahi, Gabe, Skittles Gang, Faxi Gang, Reverse 2K. Ooh, feels disrespectful to put FNCS champs there. Where do they place in? They placed pretty well in this last season too. Yeah, it was like
We're doing this based off the fact that they're directly contesting another team.
Yep. Good reminder.
And those teams are literally side by side. And then B tier has a bunch of people who are like Not completely undetermined, but have struggled in the past. Might be on like a new team or whatnot. It might be in a weird spot on the map. And
Okay.
are rolling in possibly with
No
a lot
arguments.
of potential to rise.
No arguments.
I think we
C
ordered
tier's
as well.
literally
in the
just
first
contesting
stage.
some rat stuff.
I
Sorry, say
feel
again?
bad seeing Cow can see, and I feel bad seeing Chap and D, but I think that's realistic right now.
Mm-hmm. I was we just okay. That's what I was saying. We either put Funk and D or we just leave him out. But
Yeah,
you can't really
leave
take
him
anyone
out. Leave him out. We don't know
You
his team.
can't take him out anymore. You can't take
Oh,
him
really?
out. He's
Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm trying. It's not letting me.
Okay, well, we don't know Funk's team, so ignore that. But
Yeah.
cool.
Chap
Happy?
and D. Role player.
Yeah, explaining Chap and D is because they're landing at a very like suspect spot.
Personally, I'll let you guys know. I would have not, regardless of who it was, I would not let us put a Camp COD team anywhere more than D. Personally,
It's good this season.
It's
good this season.
It's still really bad. It's better, but it's still really bad.
And the other context was that they like to split Weather Station and Camp COD.
And
That's their regular thing.
Actually,
and they're right beside the team slotted to win everything, which is Scented.
Yeah.
So if Scented's pushing anyone, it might be Chap. And then Chap will even have less to play with. It won't be the same game plan. And has to rotate through a bunch of different teams.
Look, last season, I literally remember watching last season when they were landing Misty and they would look to push Camp COD team for Surge and shit like that. So I don't see that changing with them at Catty.
I do. It's Chap. I don't know. I just feel like that's not gonna. I feel like for whatever reason, if they think they have it, then they must have it.
Okay, this is the thing for me, right? If we're doing this based off of like how Shyo tried to say it, like coming into this based off of what we know about you as a trio, where do we think how you should do? Obviously, they could do better than D, right? That's the one thing. Regardless of who's in CD or whatever, they could do better. It's just based off of what we're sort of discussing, where should they do? And I just don't think, Camp COD team is doing anything significant.
There's no reason why in my ideal world, there's no reason why Chap, Scented, Scented, Edgy, and Commandment are not just beaming down, just taking Weather Station, just beaming down at them for free surge. Like I don't see them just being like, yeah, no, you can take Weather Station. We'll come down for surge later. I don't see that. Cool.
But if it does happen, then there probably will be higher than D. But for the meantime, now.
Oh, you're still driving the ship,
I forgot I'm the host, guy. I'm not used to this, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Look, I'm used to just sitting back and just enjoying the ride. Shyo just carrying me on the shoulder. Host 11, are we doing ORGWATCH now? It's the time for that, right? This is typically the time where we would sort of catch up to what's going on with orgs. ORGWATCH has been a bit quiet. I think there is something we wanted to catch on from last week, but I think it'd be nice to come into ORGWATCH and sort of talk about Cooler, right? Because obviously, if you guys have been following, Cooler shut down as an org. Cooler Esports, one of the OG orgs within the competitive scene, especially in EU. Obviously, the first org to be crowned world champions in in World Cup, sorry. And it's the end of an era, like their post said. Obviously, they've been forced to shut down operations as a result of COVID. Very similar stuff to what we saw with Atlantis towards the beginning of the pandemic, but obviously now it's Cooler's time, and definitely sad to see for many of the people who are OGs in the scene, because nothing but positive words for Cooler for the most part as an org.
Yeah, Aqua and Nyrox winning. They did some really, really good content with them at World Cup. But yeah, after that, pretty much there was not much. It felt like they had mixed ventures in a lot of different spaces, but yeah, COVID, they just couldn't get anything going, and they can't compete against the teams like Guild and Become Legends, who were just picking everybody up. I think who they have still. They have
good players. They had ZQ, who obviously was played in FNTASIA finals with CR and whatnot. They had Aqua, of course, who's sort of been on a break and had a rough spell to the end of last year. I believe they still had FNTASIA. I'm not sure though. No, FNTASIA's on Grizzly. No, FNTASIA's on Grizzly, so he's not on.
Okay. And NOWORD?
They did have NOWORD. So they pretty sure.
Yeah, and he was doing content. He was mostly just casting, and not playing.
A lot of French players have transitioned to that. You remember Vivek? Vivek does that kind of stuff now. He just casts and commentates event. It's kind of sick. But a lot of players, a lot of French players are starting to transition to doing that. So yeah, sad to see them go though. I think it's sort of a similar old story for a lot of the endemic Fortnite orgs, right? Where, you know, it's just with COVID, it's just been really rough for them. I think it's been really rough. And apparently, from what I read on the thing, they actually, I didn't know that they had like a really good Apex Legends team or something like that, right? I believe in one of those kind of
They're
games.
like won
and,
champions or something, a
yeah,
championship or something.
yeah, cooler and winning
Really? Wow.
championships. The name of a better combo, right? So
Yeah, and BR is like
literally, yeah. Clearly, they had the right idea for things.
There was also they were one of the few teams that were doing the boot camp things, right? Remember, it was
Aqua
Benji
literally has
and...
been living in London like for a long time now because of Cooler.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, there was that legendary Mongrel Mitro Benji boot camp. Who was it? During season X, was
I
it?
remember that, and they were with like Pate 1K and
Pate 1K,
yeah,
yep.
and all of them boys. That was sick. That was honestly sick.
So memories, bro, memories. Yeah, sad to
Yeah.
see them go. Unfortunately, this is the reality during COVID. Maybe they'll be back. I don't know. Probably not, depending on what they said in the statement, which I didn't get to see the end of that. But
Well, it'll be interesting
RBK type beat?
because
You never know.
I, as far as I know, like the people who worked behind the scenes at Cooler, I don't really know if any of them are too forward facing because we sort of saw with like Atlantis, certain people moved on to different orgs, right? Like we got the brother that moved over to G2, I forgot his name now, which is really bad.
Cookie.
Yeah. Then you had other people like Knock1 who moved on to another org, and like so you saw some certain people from Atlantis move on. Whereas Cooler, like I don't really know too much of their staff, so where do they go? Who knows? But
yeah.
We
ran we casted a Valorant tournament for them, me and Shyo,
really
back in the OG days. They were cool. They were really cool. Anyways, what's next?
Well, next on ORGWATCH is what we missed from last week, right? We just spoke about him briefly recently, right, in terms of the ranking FaZe Elite Cup people. But Co1azo joining TSM, we sort of missed it. What do you guys think? React?
Dude, this thing like popped off in terms of Co1azo numbers, like almost 50,000 likes.
Look at the first,
Like in
the
terms of the
second
engagement
reply.
and whatnot. No, got the content, man. But it was kind of, it was just insane. And like the support, I tuned into the streams after the fact was nuts too. It's like it's also kind of strange because, you know, TSM dipping out of comp, Co1azo focuses a lot on comp, but then at the same time, if you look at like, you know, his YouTube, his stream persona and the ambiance, a lot of content there too. So, you know, TSM's still in the business, but in the right business, so to speak, for like what they're looking for.
I think this is big for them. I think for them, if they see Co1azo as a success, then they'll jump back into Fortnite, but with this newer strategy of going for content related people, right? And I think that could only be a positive to see them back, I guess.
Yeah, they've gone for like style hubs in the past, right? Like a certain style of community whether like, you know, they not control, but had a vested interest in, you know, Myth Hamlins and Daquan. They had a huge portion of, you know, that is TSM. Now with Co1azo's, you know, the friend group that he's part of and whatnot, that's an entire type of content and vibe that, you know, they now have a big stake in as well. And you know, they've you know, Macwood was a part of that business beforehand too. Like you're talking about 1X, you know, I'm not sure if they wanted to be associated with that type of content.
Yeah, no, well, not obviously not that sort of content, but like when they picked up Zexro, Macwood, like that, like part of the scene, like is what, like, you know what I mean? Like that area of the scene is sort of where they started to like take their claim in that sense, like with, you know.
Eventually they signed Ops too. Like it was,
so
they always go for like these hubs, you know what I mean? Like the most poppin' hub of individuals. So like
I think this is separate from that. This is like an individual, like random, well, not random. Co1azo has been popping off on streams. I honestly think that this is like hunting for the next, you know, guy like Tifu or the guy like Nick Merck, somebody says in chat. Like this is that rather than anything around Fortnite at all. Co1azo streams have been popping off. He's a very positive guy, very entertaining stream and community, and is growing. TSM signing him will grow him even more. I don't think this is comp Fortnite related. I think this is just Co1azo being awesome, and he does comp Fortnite, so we get to benefit from it as well. So we get to see him grow because of it, which is good.
Anything more than Tfue, well, not more than Tfue, but outside, I think it's more of what they already have in EMAD. I think they're looking for the next guy like that per se, where you have someone who is a comp player who, you know, is still involved in the scene and has a large following in the scene. Like you said, you know, Co1azo's streams pop off, like his content's popping off. And he's still very connected to the scene. So similar to what EMAD was before he completely stopped playing and just started doing viewing parties. So I like this move. I think this is only a good thing.
Cool. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I hope that we get to see Co1azo perform though in some of these upcoming tournaments because I don't want to lose him. Just because this guy has gone from he was literally the Fortnite story. Outside of like the Aiden thing where he's moved on a while ago. Co1azo played on console during Winter Royale. Like he was Wigs and Co1azo back in Winter Royale 2018 when it was the first open competition to everybody online. He played on console and he qualified in. He had that legendary clip in Tilted Towers. Like this man has been places and he's still here and he's still dope. Like so, yeah.
One of his best glow ups, like the backbone of like his pop off was all about integrity too, which is cool. That's not always, you know, usually it's like killing a big streamer or like doing some crazy backflips, but like his pop offs were just like, you know, trying to support the game, and then people just rode that vibe. So
yeah, and
nice.
he's always pairing with new and up and coming players, controller players or not. Like he's always paired with people that he wants to spread the love with. So I think it's cool. I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's this week's ORGWATCH, I guess. You know, a bit of a there's less to it ORGWATCH the more and more you do it. I feel like, you know, but it is nice to sort of catch up on what is sort of going on with orgs in that sense. There was a tournament though that happened. It's been quite a couple of tournaments to be fair, so we could sort of rope in a bunch from all of them. But obviously we had GrefG Solo competition in EU yesterday. There was a duo competition in EU, Rival Rock or something like that. We've had a bunch of, you know, these different competitions in EU. You know, Amars announced that he wants to do another one of his or something similar at least. Like there's a lot going on with EU events, but specifically with the GrefG Solo. Another example of, you know, a lot of the players who seemingly are in form, right? We see Snazy up there in the leaderboard coming third, Seti obviously winning it, who's been in form as well. Did any of you guys get a chance to watch, or what do you make of some of the standings here?
Tuned in like briefly. Wasn't a very coherent place to watch or understand what was going on.
Habla
except
español?
for Twitter. Yeah, I do. So it was I tuned in the cast every once in a while with GrefG and Suha. But yeah, I don't know. Seti popped off. I think what did he got like 2 really good games back to back in the middle of it. He's strong. I think under appreciated in EU so far as this guy since a long time. But Tayson is in form. I think people were questioning Tayson for some reason.
Ludicrous.
Absolutely ludicrous, but okay, there it is. Second place. Janice too. I don't know how you could continuously be this strong in EU. Tayson and Janice as solo players, man. They are unstoppable. Snazy, third place is really cool for him as well. That's the part of the FREEANDILEX trio with
all of them having good individual results, and it's just crazy. Like these guys are really in form. Really in form.
Then moving down the list though, Reason, Paco, Kinzel, these guys are definitely expected to be up here. Mongrel, top 9. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for everybody talking about him last season and how they had the complete flump last season. 9th place for Mongrel is good in a custom tournament like this with as many good players as there are. So that's promising as well.
Yeah, Shyo, any thoughts on it?
Didn't get to watch it, but my main thing was looking at 9th place. Paul just mentioned it. Seeing Mongrel after, you know, all the talk of is dude still here, blah blah blah, not qualifying for this, that. You know, I'm wondering, like it's a one-off. I've always just, you know, and it's really cool. It'd just be nice to see what happens after the fact, or like, you know, if you are tuning in with this on socials, like getting a cool recap would be nice and whatnot. If you don't get to tune in tournaments, but there's not any, you know, expansive thoughts. I'm just like reaching for stuff.
Yeah, I think that's more of a general Fortnite thing. We don't really have as much, you know, recaps for people who can't actively follow everything, and it is hard to follow everything. You know, like it is incredibly hard. So, personally, when I saw this, I think you know, I really want to harp in on Seti winning it, and really good for him, right? Because obviously you have Teak, who everybody talks about because of his success in Dreamhack as a solo, whatever. You have Cammy, who people were going crazy about. You know, the whole split's named after him specifically, right? The Cammy split, him and Paco did really well for a time. And once again, you get a case where similar to Savage last season, where because you have two people that everyone was sort of talking about, you almost talk less about the third guy who's equally just amazing, like Seti. Like the one thing with Seti that is really key that me and Destiny and Jesus really like would talk about a bunch is Cammy's known as one of the best tarpers in EU, if not the world. And in their trio, Cammy let Seti tarp, because Seti as a tarper like is just one of might be the best I've seen. So really, really good player. I'm glad he can finally start to get some attention that is rightfully deserved there. So yeah, good events, not too bad.
GrefG, I want to see more.
yes. Honestly, GrefG, Amar, all of these guys that are running like these events, super cool.
GrefG had like 150K viewers. Watch doing a tournament, a Fortnite tournament.
Yeah,
that's so cool. The Spanish community is insane, and GrefG specifically, man, this guy is nuts. It's so cool as well. Like what this is what celebrating the fact that he had 7 million followers on Twitch or something like that.
Yeah.
So he ran a Fortnite tournament, and his community vibed with that. Like that's so sick.
That is honestly really, really cool.
So let's get him to 8 million and see what happens.
And we're just gotta announce that next episode of FNTASIA will be full in Spanish, including all of us and the titles. It's gonna be sick.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
No habla español. That's what you're gonna hear. ¿Qué? I'll throw in a couple K's. Yeah, I think that sort of wraps up everything. I feel like is this our longest ep? 2 hours 42 minutes.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I like that. On a week that we said was dry.
How the hell did we get to this much? Because this outline looked kind of rough. I was like during the Shyo hosting section, I was like, wait a second, how the hell we went through like 5 topics like super fast.
No, it's because bro, the Fortnite gods were like, dang, they checked the outline out. We didn't even hit 10 total topics. Take the tweet. You know what I'm saying? Take the tweet, argue a bit, see what's up. They knew. So
true.
Yeah, Thursday's a good day.
Well, I think that do I get the honors?
Yeah.
You want the honors? All right, go for it, bro.
Well, hope you guys all enjoyed this amazing episode of FNTASIA. We'll see you all next week. Don't forget to, share the podcast everywhere. You can listen to it on all sort of platforms. And for the people here on stream, shout out to you guys for hanging out for this long 240 hours. Once again, we'll see you all next week. It's been your boys.